here on OGN. I am Achilleos. Joining me on the desk today is Papa Smithy. And right off the bat, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of changes here. The casting has changed. The rule sets for Apex Season 3 have changed. Starting things off, a couple new faces fresh on the desk.
Yeah, another change also, the players handing out roses to their adoring fans. We don't have any roses to hand out, Achilleos, but hopefully some kick-ass Korean Overwatch is what we have to provide the fans, because when you've got a first day matchup, this is a great one.
Oh, absolutely. The reigning champions, Lunatic-Hai from Season 2, coming and starting things off, going up against Kongdu Panthera, a team that struggled a little bit in the past, didn't make it out of groups in Season 1, made it into the round of 8 in the second season, but not further than that. Hey guys, how's it going? But have recently had some roster change-ups. Lunatic-Hai, oddly enough, one of the teams that has not changed much. They have added a substitute player of Guido onto the roster, but he's not going to be starting yet.
I mean, that's the story with Lunatic-Hai, right? They had two players that were going to be on the roster. Then, of course, some changes recently. Only settled on Guido a couple of days ago. Probably not going to see him today, you'd imagine. But Kongdu Panthera and the Kongdu org. Remember, Kongdu, the only org to actually have two teams in Apex this season, given that the other orgs didn't get through the promotion tournament that you and I cast. Still do have some big changes. They've changed identity. These two triple tank teams now got some kick-ass DPS, so I'm excited to see how they gel because they've changed quite a lot quickly, and they're against the reigning champions. So It's a big first ask for Kongdu Panthera.
Definitely will be. Change is going to be the word of the day for sure as we move forward. But first and foremost, we do have to go ahead and thank Monte Cristo and Doa for their service, for their dedication to Apex for those first two seasons, and for setting us up with what's such a wonderful tournament. They'll be departing for NA to cast the Overwatch League in just a few days. So thank you guys for everything that you've done from the bottom of our hearts. From myself, Papa Smithy, Atlas and Wolf, our other two casters that will be joining us throughout the broadcast, throughout this season. Thank you so much, and thank you as well, OGN, for giving us this wonderful opportunity.
I mean, I've set that tone with two great seasons, and now big shoes to fill for us. Big shoes to fill also in terms of the Overwatch, because it's going to be a really interesting season. Last season saw the change in format to the double group format. Really, I think, ramped up towards the end of the season. We got a lot of matches between the best teams. That format's not changing, but it feels like almost everything around it is changing. One piece of information I think we will touch on in a moment is about the patch. So in terms of patch today, we are not on the live patch. We're still on a tournament server here for Apex League, so we will have those locked patches for an extended amount of time compared to the live patch. So no worries about the Diva hotfix that was needed or anything like that. We're still on the patch that went live on April 17th. Overwatch patches have hard names. It's patch 1.10.0.2b. All you guys really need to know is Lucio changes are in, the Mei hotfix has gone out, so Mei still does slow with the shots.
Yeah, and we also still have the any percentage point capture in effect at the moment, so it's not going to be that 33%, the single tick today. And we don't know when it's going to be in the future, but we should have that patch coming through. But for now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the tournament overview here on your screen. 200 million won on the line for that first place team. And of course, as per usual, the fight money to come through. $1 million for every game.
And as I mentioned, the format does stay the same. So we start off with this round robin 4-group system into the winners groups, I guess you would call them. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and a great final lined up. So that format doesn't change. Around that, we do have some other interesting details that we're going to reveal now. The tactical pauses, for example, that you guys remember from the bracket stage will be entering as soon as today, and I expect to see a bit more of the news just because, again, any extra time to think about map pool, which is another thing we'll talk about in a moment, is going to be so important.
Yeah, things have gotten shaken up a little bit here, especially with the addition of substitute players that can happen, but here we'll have on your screen the group. So Group A kind of been touted as the group of death with Lunatic-Hai, reigning champions, Mighty AOD, a strong showing coming forward from the promotion tournament, and then Rogue actually making their return, coming back to Korea yet again.
Yeah, only two foreign teams invited this time. Envious, your Season 1 champions, also the best finisher in Season 2 is in Group D. But like you say, Rogue, this hype team that's back from Season 1 of Apex with a slightly different roster than them. Of course, they did split off over to the Misfits and everything like that, who have done so well online, especially over in North America. Now get to play their wares, and we actually get a really good gauge of how good they are because some of the biggest competitors in this tournament are in Group A.
Yeah, and we still have some fantastic groups down the line. B, Runaway, the runners-up there from the grand final last year, a Freak of Freaks, Blue, the Season 1 runners-up, all in that group with Kongdu Uncia, who has still been a force to be reckoned with throughout the duration of Apex thus far. And X6, one of our first new faces, joining us this season.
Yeah, and the asterisks largely do show us these new teams that are coming through. And remember, it was, of course, Runaway coming through the promotion tournament and surprising us with their expectations after not getting relegated from Season 1, who had that big increase in performance. So even though we're sitting here on day 1 of the tournament before we've seen any Overwatch, thinking we know, hey, Luxury Watch Blue, Lunatic-Hai, they're all going to be in with a shout. You have to believe that because Overwatch is still the new game that it is, some of these new teams, there is going to be a surprise here. I have to think there's going to be another shake-up in the top 4 when all is said and done.
I mean, last season, Meta Athena was really the one that came out of the promotion tournament that really just gave everybody a run for their money. It could be X6 this time around, could be MVP Space, who have requalified. They're shown as a promoted team, but they're requalifying from Season 1, so they're back in, and then, of course, Kongbox Spirit and Flashlux also maintain their spots here.
So looking here, the big change that's happening with the sets and how things go is the map pool is now going to be all maps available of a type. So for example, when we get to map 2 or set 2 as indicated on this graph, we get to the hybrid set, Kings Row, Eichenwald, Hollywood, and Numbani will always be in the pool unless one is selected when we get through to set 5. So basically, there is never going to be a day where a team that's really good at Eichenwald loses map 1 and doesn't get a chance to select it in map 2. And just to clarify, the losing team from game 1 either chooses the battleground, so one of those maps, or the side. So there is still now an extra level of tacticalness. Speaking of tactical changes.
Yeah, we have the tactical pauses coming through. So each team can call one timeout per match, or they can go ahead and swap out a player. So a team like Lunatic-Hai, who does have Guido waiting in the wings, they could go ahead, have that pause come through, swap him out, and then they get a couple minutes to, get him set with his on the computer, as well as, go over the strategy, how they want to approach the match. So they could choose between one or the other.
You may ask the question why. Why only one of these? Why not a tactical pause and a change of player? Not every team in this tournament actually has a 7th man. There isn't a requirement for a substitute, so it wouldn't be fair that teams could get a tactical pause and change of players to get 2 breaks in play to basically talk about formation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's one or the other. Of course, the rules have changed every season, maybe iterated on the future, but for now, these are our new rules for Apex Season 3.
Yeah, so a team like Kongdu Panthera doesn't have substitutes. They can go ahead and rely on that tactical pause, whereas Lunatic-Hai kind of has their pick between the two. So just a couple of different things coming forward, moving this along and making the game just that much more strategic. But today's matchup, we've already talked about the first one. The second one coming up will be Runaway going up against Afrika Freaks Blue. So the double runners-up matches, one from Season 1, one from Season 2, squaring off, is making this one hell of a first day of Season 3.
I mean, Kongdu Panthera hyped in their own right, but the only of these 4 teams to not have actually made it to a grand final. Afrika Freaks Blue in Season 1, Lunatic-Hai and Runaway, of course, were tussling just a few weeks ago in the Apex Season 2 final. So there's a lot of hyped names here. Both the matches should be excellent. Afrika Freaks Blue iterating with their new lineup, new supports. Maybe Arhan will have more of a Season 1 Genji performance than his struggles in Season 2 because he's got the healers now, so he's got no excuses, you'd have to say. A lot of attention is going to be on the DPS players because it feels like a lot's been done around them for Afrika Freaks Blue to empower them in that match.
Yeah, Arhan just needs to be, actually receiving those heals so he can pop off on that Genji perhaps. We'll see what he can piece together for us when we do get to that second set. But first, we have to go through Lunatic-Hai versus Kongdu Panthera, see how these guys are going to fare. I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast, some recent roster changes coming in for Panthera. Birdring being moved over from Kongdu Uncia, and then you also have Evermore and Bling being taken off the roster and bringing in Void as well as that flex tank player.
And that's why we kind of, for at least the start here, we have to focus on Kongdu Panthera because that's where the change is. They're actually going to have a very tough ask, changing their roster significantly and having to face the reigning champion. So the big change here is bringing in Birdring because he's effectively replacing Bling. They're going for the dual DPS. The 2-2-2 is probably going to be in full effect from Kongdu Panthera. And now they have someone to help out Rascal, even though both Rascal and Birdring do have these kind of overlapping hero pools. You look at their hero pools, both of them, Soldier Genji, their most played. We know Rascal has a sick Sombra, a sick Pharah as well. But you have to imagine that now we go away from 2 triple tank teams that have a star DPS, and now both those DPSs on Panthera can kind of focus on a particular hero pool. Maybe we'll see Rascal take the projectile DPS, like, for example, the Genji, like, specifically the Pharah, and then we see the further specializations from Birdring. So there could be a lot of change here, and even though we have preconceived notions of hero pool, because now they occupy the same space on the same team, there's a lot to learn about Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, they've shown some inconsistency in the past, so I'm hoping that these roster changes kind of they tighten up this roster, and they can perform more regularly, because they did make a good run of it last season in their group, 3-0, in a group that had Runaway inside of it. So, they were performing well, but on the day when it really matters, when they get to that round of 8, that's when they fell. We're able to take a match off of Luxury Watch Blue, but then just lost everything else. So that inconsistency is really what kind of condemned them in this last season. So hopefully, with these changes coming through, with all of these changes culminating now into Season 3, they can find some success for themselves. And taking down Lunatic-Hai right here, day 1, first match, that would be one hell of a showing.
And that would build up hype. I mean, some of the hype actually is kind of in a weird spot for specifically the global fans who all remember Evermore, this hyped first 5K player. No longer on the roster. He's now listed just a streamer for the Kongdu organization. So bringing in Void, an entirely new player. He talks about his hero pool. He talks about Zarya and D.Va, so going to be very much the sort of tank role player for the team. There is the hype of the dual DPS. It's kind of offset by Evermore no longer being in the roster, even though he kind of had up and down performances, it's best to say, in competitive play. Looked a lot more with his team in Season 2. But they've kind of changed their identity a few times. So how Kongdu Panthera lines up, and what the expectations are, because they're against Lunatic-Hai, starting with an unchanged lineup. I don't think many people out there are betting for them to win, even though the hype levels, if you listen to some of the pro players who played against them, are relatively high. They have to come in pretty heavy dogs. The favorites have to be Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, so maybe Kongdu, if they want to come into this one, find a victory, maybe they need to change things up a little bit. It's been very consistent, the meta, you'd have to say. I mean, it's very flexible. Everything is, viable for the most part, except for that Orisa. We haven't seen her at all throughout the duration of the promotion tournament. Was obviously not enabled during Apex Season 2, but now she's available. Will we see a team drag her out and try to catch the other off guard? Because we saw some really star-studded performances on the Sombra during that promotion tournament from the likes of Twilight, and that's something that we weren't really used to seeing. So I think maybe they could throw that curveball, might give them that edge up.
I mean, if it's Nepal, if it's Sanctum, we've even seen from online tournaments that Orisa can be a thing. Now, will it be a thing? So far, we've seen the Korean players maybe be a bit more resistant to change on things like that. So as you say, even though it was available during the promotion tournament, no one was actually playing Orisa. I'm actually, coming back to your first point about Sombra, I'm really interested to see how Sombra shakes out, just because we're seeing it more be the Ana player moving over to Sombra, flexing their aim from support rather than being Rascal, who, of course, was the pure DPS Sombra, and certainly captured our imagination on that pick, playing from the DPS role. So even that, even the nuances of who plays certain heroes isn't settled. It's only Season 3 of Apex, hopefully Season 3 of many, and we're still learning about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we're going to go ahead and hear from the players as we take a look at Lunatic-Hai.
안녕하세요. 저희는 지난 시즌 우승팀인 루나틱하이라고 합니다. 결승에서 4대3으로 역전승했잖아요. 그때 우승했을 때 그 기분은 정말 말로 표현할 수가 없거든요. 다시 한번 그런 기분을 느껴보고 싶어요, 이번 시즌에. 저희 팀은 다 아시다시피 돌진 조합에 최적화되어 있고 돌진 조합을 제일 잘 쓰는 팀이라고 생각하고 있고요. 또 저희가 탱 조합이 좀 부족하다는 소리가 있었는데 저나 승준이가 로드호그나 디바의 폼을 많이 끌어올려야 되기 때문에 그 점을 중점적으로 하려고 하고 있어요. 제가 선물을 다시 쓰고는 싶은데
침대를 또 파고드는데 SIP
아까 여기 누워있지 않았나요?
아직까지는 숨겨두겠습니다. 경기 때 보시면 알 것 같아요.
후아유는 특별해요. 완벽한 겐지 실력을 보여주고 있습니다. 네.
저희 팀의 일단 키플레이어는 후아유 선수라고 생각하고요. 판을 바꿀 수 있는 겐지라고 생각을 해요, 후아유 선수가. 불리한 상황에서도 혼자서 이제 힐러진을 다 자르고 상황을 역전시킨다던가 그런 상황이 되게 많이 나오기 때문에 저희 팀의 에이스라고 생각합니다. 사실 지난 시즌 결승 전까지만 해도 에스카 하다는 뜻이 되게 못한다는 의미였는데 결승 이후로 그 뜻이 바뀌었더라고요. 고난과 역경을 딛고 결국엔 해내다 뭐 이런 뜻으로 바뀌었는데 개인적으로 너무 뿌듯하고 기분이 좋아요. 이번 시즌에 저희 팀을 노리는 팀들이 많을 텐데 저희 팀을 꺾는 게 쉽진 않을 거예요. 이번 시즌에도 방심하지 말고 최선을 다해서 우승할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Well, there you have it, some words from Eska. Says he wants to bring out that Sombra, but he's going to keep it hidden for now. So you never know. Maybe he will drag it out today. But yeah, one of the things he touched on there, dive comps. The big thing here for Lunatic-Hai. And part of why they're so damn good at that is because of Miro.
And look, I'll compliment them on their dive comps. You know, they rightly call out how they are one of the best, perhaps the best in the world at dive comp. But it's the fact that Eska can kind of flex onto the McCree and actually counter dive comps. I actually think it's their play against the dive comp with someone like Ryu Jae-hong, the God Ana, who can position himself suspiciously, but get out. You know, can be aggressive, but also get out with his use of the biotic grenade. The fact that they can do it on both sides, defense and offense of the dive comp, is what separates them from the other best teams in the world. And even though Eska, you know, specifically with Monty and Doa, but all of us have kind of had our water cooler moments about Eska. How good is he? Is he the best? Is he the worst? The real thing with Eska is clearly had an excellent performance right at the end of the grand final of Apex Season 2, where he did some great work on Tracer. And Lunatic-Hai have also added Guido to the roster, who has very similar hero pool. Tracer, Roadhog, Genji, specifically the Tracer, which is one of Eska's specialities. So it feels like there is competition, even in the ranks for Eska, who we will always be checking on his performance, just because that's just kind of become the meme with Lunatic-Hai.
Now, well, Eska, you know, new season, he's conquered things after that last final, so now he's going to have a clean slate moving into this one, so he can really prove himself and maintain that spot on the starting roster over top of Guido. But you never know, could see him flexed out throughout the duration of this tournament. But now, let's go ahead and hear from Kongju Panthera.
대회에서 실력 발휘를 못하는 전형적인 그런 팀인데
이 시즌2에 달라진 콩두 판테라 면모를 보여주고 있습니다.
시즌 소리 동안 좀 많이 익숙해져서 많이 편한 것 같아요. 경기할 때도 긴장 안 되고. 우리 팀 일단 리빌딩이 이번에는 본시아에 있던 버드링 선수가 판테라로 옮기고, 그리고 에고모 선수가 스트리머 쪽으로 빠지면서 서브 탱커인 보이드 선수가 들어오게 되고, 보이드를 말씀드리자면 일단 자리아 유저였고요. 잘생겼습니다. 부럽네요. 예전에 제가 딜러 할 때는 조금 수비적이고 안정적으로 플레이하는 스타일이었는데, 이제 버드링하고 라스칼 둘이서 딜러가 되면서 이제 모든 챔프가 되거든요. 딜러들. 저는 겐지가 안 됐었는데. 그래서 이제 다양한 조합도 쓸 수 있고 좀 예전보다는 많이 공격적으로 바뀔 것 같아요. 저는 루시오로 빠지고요. 제 기량이 서러워해야죠. 개막전이 루나틱-하이인데 우승팀이잖아요. 저희 리빌딩 근데 잘 돼가지고 저만 토비님보다 잘하면 이길 수 있지 않을까. 언어에는 뭐 아시죠? 당연히 손대영 할 수 있죠. 저희가 시즌 1 때 16강이고 시즌 2 때 8강이거든요. 한 단계씩 올라가고 있는데 이번 시즌에는 일단 최소 4강 우승까지 노려보도록 하겠습니다. 응원에 보답할 수 있도록 계속 열심히 노력하겠습니다.
Trying to earn back and, you know, really justify the fandom there for Kongdu.
And you look, Kongdu Panthera means two things. It's gone. They're pretty dapper, I would have said. Black jumpsuits with the green suspenders, and now we've got some sailors coming in from the side of Kongdu Panthera. So whoever's their wardrobe coordinator has been working overtime, because every season they surprise us. And this one is a departure from Season 2.
Yeah, if there was a costume contest every season, they'd win it every time, you'd have to say.
They're definitely diving deep into the costume party wardrobe selections when they come up with Kongdu uniforms.
They're thinking outside the box. You know, everyone's got jerseys, or maybe they got suits. We're going to go for the sailor outfits. So, looking to take Lunatic-Hai on a voyage and leave them stranded at sea is Kongdu Panthera.
We're going to have a lot to work with these jerseys, aren't we, Achilles?
Oh, it's just going to be a plethora of jokes to be had here at the expense of their outfits for sure. But a lot to prove here for Kongdu Panthera, and Waka Waka especially. Heard him talk right there in the interview, says that if he can outplay Toby on the side of Lunatic-Hai, he thinks that the team can find success.
Yeah, no simple task, of course, but going against Toby, one of the all-star Lucio players. Really interesting because it is the new Lucio for the first time
Exactly.
for Lunatic-Hai and for Kongdu Panthera. A lot of people are saying you need one of your best players on Lucio. No longer are you in the backlines really being able to just AoE heal and not commit. You now need to be very much in the front line as, man, even the head-to-head looks hilarious with the sailor suits.
It really does, but just going to be taking a look at the most played here. You can see
And you notice it, right? Rascal and Birdring, look at them. They do have overlapping hero pools. So the big question for, I think, a lot of the fans of Kongdu Panthera, and even just general Overwatch enthusiasts, is where will the specialization go between those two hyped carries?
Well, we heard talked about their Void. We haven't seen him in play, so we don't know what his most pick is going to be throughout the season, but Zarya going to be a very big one coming in for him.
Zarya Diva, just like his opposite number Zunba, is what we are purported to be seeing from Void today when he talks about his favorite heroes at least, and would make sense again given the expectations. Some all-star support certainly on the side of Lunatic-Hai. First player to ever capture my imagination watching competitive Overwatch was Ryujay Hong, and he's now a champion finally, no longer a bridesmaid, a Lunatic-Hai.
I can see his most played there for Waka Waka, the Zarya and the Diva, but like you said, Bible Thump, I'm stuck as a Lucio now. So we'll be seeing that a lot from him, and Luffy as well. You know, changing things up. The Tracer, his most played, but now going to be looking at the likes of that Sandiana, that Ana moving forward.
Change starts here. Just waiting to find out what our first battleground will be. Starting on Control, of course, as always. Still a best of 3, if you're wondering at home. No changes there.
The best of 3 for the Control maps.
Yes,
not
best of 5 overall, but best of 3 for the Control maps.
So look at those nice hot 6 re-energized cups we got going on for the players.
Hey, Hot 6 is supporting Overwatch in the biggest way possible, and we appreciate that, of course. We're waiting to see that battleground. Remember, all available in every game type, every day. That is the new format change, and we will start with Ilios. Start things off.
All right, going to be kicking things off. We'll see where we land, whether it's going to be Well or Lighthouse or Ruins. But for now, Ilios making its return. Didn't see too much of this one in the promotion tournament, Papa Smithy, so we're going to go ahead and run it back to the classic Apex seasons and maybe just spam Ilios throughout the entire run of it.
And Lunatic-Hai 2-0 throughout the course of Apex Season 2 on Ilios. Comfort for them. Our champions only lost a single set all season to Runaway. That wasn't the grand final, though. Apex Season 3. We've been waiting for it for a couple of weeks now, Ilios, and it's just about time to get into it. Could be anything. Kongdu Panthera opened this with a victory, and suddenly all expectations for Apex take a turn.
I mean, there's a couple questions here. Who's going to take the lead in this series? But
Yep.
more importantly, Papa Smithy, are we going to get it?
I damn hope so.
We didn't hear it during the rehearsal, but maybe we'll get surprised. I really hope to God that we get it. It's the one change that we did not need come through, but let's go ahead, jump onto our first map, the first match of Season 3 of Apex. Let's go ahead and get into it. Lunatic-Hai versus Kongdu Panthera on Ilios.
Get it.
Well, thank God. We still get it. As do all of the fans here. Sold out crowd at the Seoul East Stadium. And the Lunatic-Hai fans, if you guys watched the final, if you watched really any of Lunatic-Hai's matches from the past, you'll know that they have some pretty fanatical fans. And they are out here in throngs today.
Can you ask for anything more than everyone getting exactly what they wanted? The fans did. Viewers at home do as well. Heading into our first point on Ruins here. Will we see any surprises from Hero Pool? Again, we're still learning specifically about the roles that Birdring and Rascal will take on the side of Kongdu Panthera. And for now, might see some of that Widowmaker action.
Some slight dive coming through here from Lunatic-Hai. Who are you? Takes to the Genji.
And triple DPS actually being started out with Lunatic-Hai, so already a bit of a change. We're not seeing 2 frontline tanks, only Miro on his famous Winston.
Birdring trying to open up here with the Widowmaker. Gets one body shot, but won't be finding the kill. Just spilling some meter over to the healers here for Lunatic-Hai. Birdring getting jumped on as Eska goes into the back line. Does not get taken down. Gets taken rather low, though. Has to jump over to the side. Will get popped back up. Keeps himself safe here with the help of Luffy. But nice! Headshot coming around the corner. Finds Eska. Takes him out. It's going to be the first kill of the map. And Panthera already posturing forward onto the point. Looks like they may just get this cap, and they will. Rascal takes out Miro. So very good start for the side of Kongdu.
And able to hold the point as well. Double tanks pushing up. Diva as well. Few kills come through for Kongdu Panthera. And already Very much the smallest micro victory of the day. But first one does go to Kongdu Panthera.
See the intensity there of Rascal on your screen. Already has the ultimate ready to go, as does Luffy. Who are you dashing forward?
He was kind of overstaying, just looking for some meterage. Just, oh wow, another kill. Just straight onto Mira. Going to split spawn them pretty horribly here, Lunatic-Hai. Who are you and Mira? Got a bit cute trying to overstay for a bit of poke.
Yeah, and that's the only tank, so Lunatic-Hai really not going to be able to push forward without him. See Jae-Hong over onto the Zenyatta now. So going to be changing up, going for that full dive composition.
Feel a bit robbed every time he's not on Ana, given his proficiency with the sleep up, but the Zenyatta was super effective back during the course of the final. So we're on high ground as well.
Ultimate's available here. You can see the nano boost thrown down onto Fisher as he jumps forward, goes low, gets back into the barrier, but it's not going to be enough. He gets taken down by Jae-Hong. And now Zumba with his high ground, popping that tack visor, but the Diva is there to block the majority of it. The rest hiding around the corner. He'll jump back in, but gets taken out midair. Biotic Grenade comes up with 2 kills.
Really nice stuff from Luffy. Burden gets another kill. The resets will have to come through from Lunatic-Hai, and we've already seen 63% build up from Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, this is a really strong start to the map here for Kongdu. They could hold this out 100% with no recapture from Lunatic-Hai. They might just shake them to their core if they can pull it off. 3 ultimates on their side, just to the 1, just the sound barrier for Toby.
They forced a change also. Zunba's jumped off the Soldier. Triple DPS did not work. He's back on the Diva. Trying to match that. Need to harass Birdring, though. He's been getting free shots largely this game.
Or you already taking 1 shot. The sound barrier comes down. He tries to get the hunt down in onto Birdring. Has the deflect ready to go. We'll go ahead and pop it as they go into close quarters. He goes low, gets him with the dash in the end. So takes out 1, but they lose Toby on the backside of the fight. You know, dashing in, looking for a couple more kills. Hasn't been able to come up with much yet. Pushing into the air, forcing out the primal rage from Fisher as he stays alive as they run the clock down into overtime. Miro barely tagging back in to keep this going, to keep their hopes alive. Has the primal rage to buy even more. Go ahead and pop that 1, tries the dashboard, getting on the Rascal. Won't be able to find him. For now, just trying to shove the members of Kongdu Panthera off this point so they can actually get a retake.
They're trying to buy time for Jae-Hong to get back. He has the Zenyatta ultimate, the Transcendence. It's coming back from spawn. Looks like they're finally overwhelming the numbers. Birdring certainly won't be able to cap the point or hold on to it. First capture over to Lunatic-Hai at 99%.
Yep, they got a couple kills on the backside of that one. The team wipe coming through. Lunatic-Hai finally getting that capture. But they need to hold this all the way.
All right, a single flip. Very likely lead to the point capture for Kongdu Panthera. Of the ultimates available, you're going to see a very early pop, and we'll probably see a change come through at some point from the Widowmaker. Now, no real obvious usage of the Ana ultimate, so just a bit of trading. Want to see basically an eco push you'd imagine from Kongdu Panthera, although
losing out on that exchange there. The Pulse Bomb coming down, not going to find a kill. Do get the Transcendence out, so Lunatic-Hai, they're able to stay alive inside the pit. They pop that back there from Void, and they actually take him out. As Zumba gets him with that self-destruct. Just dashing around the side, looking for another Pulse Bomb. So he builds that one up steadily. 40% on the clock for him. And Lunatic-Hai still approaching ultimates. Kongdu don't have any to work with themselves.
Finally, we see that change away from the Widowmaker, so Birdring will be jumping onto the Genji. Still waiting to find out if he will be the Genji player on the team, since he had been sharing duties with Rascal on that particular hero in the past. Again, no ultimates on either side, although you now see the sound barrier available for Toby.
Again, going very low, forces out that recall to keep himself alive. Sound barrier comes down here from Lunatic-Hai as they just try to hold on to this as best as possible. Primal Rage from Fisher trying to knock Jae-Hong off the map. He is able to do so, so gets rid of that Zenyatta, buys themselves some more time as they look for the retake. 30% there already. Self-destruct comes down, not going to find anybody, but Eska and Toby both get taken out as Rascal starts popping off with the trace of the Pulse Bomb, getting rid of the supports, and they're just cleaning house as they look for this retake. They'll be able to get it. And Lunatic-Hai, do they have anybody to contest this? It's looking like a no as the clock ticks down. There we go. Ruins taken by Kongdu Panthera in convincing fashion.
Yeah, Jae-Hong taken out first, meant the healing just wasn't there for the side of Lunatic-Hai, and Kongdu Panthera definitely reward for effort. Got the first capture off the crucial pick. That duel between Eska and Birdring right at the start actually was so important, given that they managed to build up to 99% on the first capture. And Lunatic-Hai were a little bit slow to change away from triple DPS. Open triple DPS, Zumba flexing away from his Zarya duties onto the Soldier. But the moment they didn't take the first capture, they had to wait so many times. Winston split spawned, and thus wasn't there, and it took a long time to get everything together. Suddenly already 50% over to Kongdu Panthera, and suddenly already 1 map over to Kongdu.
Yep. Really nice start. Just need this last victory here. Go ahead and close things out as we move over to Lighthouse. Seems like Lunatic-Hai going to be running pretty much the same thing. Who are you? Over onto the Genji and Eska coming out with the Tracer. So dive composition still in full effect. Saw the hover over that Pharah for a little bit, but does get swapped over by Kongdu, so won't be having her hovering up in the skies. No pharmacy to start things off yet. We're dashing in. Yeah, looking for Fisher. Discord Orb doing some work as they take down the Winston, and this is going to be a very strong start. Complete reversal from Ruins thus far as Lunatic-Hai sticks in. Miro going low, drops down the barrier, keeping himself alive, constantly getting tagged back up here by Ru Jae-hong. Who Are You is just building up the meter, 50% already on that Dragon Blade.
And you can't be surprised that when two teams run identical lineups and one of those teams is Lunatic-Hai on the dive comp, you know how it should go. So they tried to outthink their opponents in the first map, going triple DPS. That was well held and targeted by Kongdu Panthera. And you can see Kongdu Panthera already swapping it up. They are not interested in matching hero for hero with Lunatic-Hai. Understandable against the reigning champions. And now we see the Pharmacy come out, and Rascal, he looked great in small doses on the Pharah last time out, and yep, he's going to be on the projectile side of the coin.
Yeah, just firing away with this Pharmacy. You can see, just getting that nice shove off as Kongdu move in for the cap. So they'll be able to get this 28%. All that it was accrued for Lunatic-Hai. They do go ahead and concede this one, just trying to minimize the amount of losses that they have so they don't have those split spawns coming out.
And they have a really hard time taking down the Pharah. It's a really smart swap from Panthera, who have been very quick on the swaps when they need to make them. There's no McCree to really profit from the Discord or from Jae-Hong, so for now it's a tricky prospect to stop Pharah from reigning supreme in the air.
Transcendence coming down, Pulse Bomb tossed out, not going to find anything though. So Eska just dashing back, trying to keep himself alive. They are able to take down Waka Waka and Luffy. Both the supports from Kongdu Panthera taken out as Lunatic-Hai looks for another retake here. 30% being matched by Kongdu Panthera, and Who Are You? Snapping out Rascal with those shurikens. Able to take him out.
Target priority.
Very close so far as we just go back and forth.
Yeah, the target priority is so important from the side of Lunatic-Hai. Mercy was one of the first names going down, and that's Luffy, frustrated at 75% of the ult meter, working the way towards res. They will still persist in what they're running. They're close to 5 ultimates, Kongdu Panthera, although plenty of ults on the side of Lunatic-Hai as well.
And oddly enough, Rascal was one of the fastest ones to build up that ultimate despite swapping onto the Pharah a bit later. So showing that proficiency with the Pharmacy comp. Things working out quite well for him. Going to be looking for a very nice angle on that barrage. They try to stay alive. Goes ahead and pops it, but everybody's just retreating. And you can see just that right click coming out from the demon.
Two dead already. Jae-Hong and Toby both supports down for Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, and Who Are You not able to do enough work? Has that Dragon Blade, gets taken out. As Rascal just comes back in, pops the mech as well, gets Eska, the triple kill coming through as they just clean house and sweep their way through Lunatic-Hai. A change of hands yet again on the point in Kongdu. They will retake this 40% to 75. We'll see how long they can hold it.
And they still have both support ultimates up, despite the fact that we saw, Who Are You blow the Dragon Blade. So there's a lot of safety here for the supports, at least relatively.
Yeah, they can buy them quite a bit of time. With that sound barrier especially. Pulse Bomb coming through. Waka Waka goes low, gets the barrier down, and Birdring swoops in to rescue his resident scientist. Takes out Eska, stopping that kill. And you can see Lunatic-Hai just have to give up on this push. Zumba jumping off the map. They're going to try to recuperate and rejoin as the meter is about to get matched. 75% on the horizon here for Kongdu Panthera.
Lunatic-Hai are not interested in investing into tech to specifically target Rascal. Now, of course, we saw them claim the point with Rascal being the last person to die because of their target priority onto the Mercy. She's got res. She needs to die first. If she's not the top of the kill feed, it's struggle street for Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, it certainly is. You see, they're not swapping out. They're not going for anything. They can snipe this Pharah out of the sky. No soldier from Zumba, and no McCree as well. So rough times. Transcendence coming down now for Lunatic-Hai. Rascal has another barrage ready to go. Pulse Bomb comes through. Double kill goes over. Both the DPS taking out the barrage. Now firing in from Rascal inside the point. Comes up with a double kill, getting rid of Toby and Zumba.
That should be it.
And that's going to be the team wipe. And that's going to be Kongdu Panthera. The 2-0 taking the first map as they win Ilios very easily.
So the first curveball of the set was game 1. Map 1 with the triple DPS from Lunatic-Hai didn't work. They were slow to change, and Kongdu Panthera took things in pretty standard fashion. Map 2 was the more interesting one to me because tactically, I love what Kongdu Panthera did. They realized they were man for man with the same heroes on the side of Lunatic-Hai, and okay, we cannot win true dive comp versus true dive comp. Instantly, we see Rascal take to the skies, one of the most impressive heroes we've seen from him in the past, even if it wasn't a staple. And now, because they have Birdring in the lineup, these pocket picks can come through, the swaps can be fast, and I really like what these dual DPS setup gives Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, really strong showing to start things off. But that's control point out of the way. Now we move over to hybrid. This is going to be completely different territory. We've seen, the on-paper weaker teams take down the higher end on these King of the Hill maps. This is where they really can prove themselves, really strike fear into the hearts of Lunatic-Hai and everybody else waiting in this group.
All stats, of course. Good reading for Lunatic-Hai. It's not like they have a weak map type outside of perhaps pure Escort, where they have a losing record throughout the course of Apex Season 2. Hybrid 8-3 and 4-3 respectively for Lunatic-Hai and Kongdu Panthera. So Lunatic-Hai very much in their comfort zone. Wait, they decide to choose the map or whether they're attacking or defending first. One of the new changes is that flexibility that we actually saw in the grand final. That was an option there as well.
Yeah.
Let's find out. So remember, all of the hybrid maps are available. We do no longer have a set map pool each day.
Going to Eichenwald.
Eichenwald, interesting. So that is the selection here coming through. Lunatic-Hai, not quite backs against the wall yet, but they're going to be surprised to find themselves one map down to the newly minted Kongdu Panthera.
Well, we already know how Lunatic-Hai can play this one out. This was the final map in the grand final versus Runaway, and it was a 3-1 victory for Lunatic-Hai, stopping them after that initial cap. Weren't allowing them to move that payload up to the point B. So we know that they're very seasoned in Eichenwald. Kongdu Panthera, how much work have they put in? That's going to be the question.
They are 2-0 on this map in Apex Season 2 as well, so it's not like it's a black mark on the other side either. There should be a hyper-competitive game too, just to complement the great start to the series.
All right, well, if the energy continues flowing through like it does from that first game, and I got to say, I'm really damn excited for the rest of this set. I'm excited to dive into Eichenwald and see who comes out on top, because honestly, a win here for Kongdu Panthera would put them at match point. Let's see if they can do it, or see if this series will get stretched out by Lunatic-Hai.
I get it.
And there you go, the fans. Lunatic-Hai fans not backing down, but Kongdu Panthera fans adding in that extra bit of gusto.
I gotta say, any team's fans who can match cheers even within 20% of Lunatic-Hai's fans, because we were at Apex Season 2 Grand Final and heard the ear-curdling cheers coming through from the Lunatic-Hai fans. Kongdu Panthera fans doing pretty well by their team today, and the team also standing up at least on control to start off the day. Obviously, Kongdu Panthera will be on defense to begin Eichenwald.
You call them cheers at the grand final. I call them shrieks.
Shrills,
Very shrill.
I've been to many esports finals. We've cast multiple esports finals. I have never heard anything like the Lunatic-Hai fans on that day. And the question will be for Lunatic-Hai. They finally got their bogey off their back. They finally won their first championship after being the bridesmaid so many times. Will this be a championship hangover for Lunatic-Hai? Still far too early to work out, but you can't help but wonder.
They partied so hard that they're still hungover today. 3 weeks in the making.
That's a sick party.
That's a party that I'd be pretty damn impressed if you were able to survive. But we can see here Lunatic-Hai starting things off on the assault as they push forward. Dive comp yet again coming through for Jaehong over onto that Zenyatta.
And mirror comp with what they ran in that final game against Runaway. Prototypical dive, like you say. Side of Kongdu Panthera, they got Rascal trying to patrol the high ground on the Soldier. Already a single pick onto Jaehong.
He's all by himself though, has to run away, but he can't make it out of there. Who are you? Able to take him out. Jaehong does go down. 1-for-1, the support still in favor of Kongdu Panthera, so it looks like they will be holding on as Lunatic-Hai decides to back off.
And the moment you lose Zenyatta, it kind of turns into a quick eco push where you're more about building up your ult economy rather than focusing on going for a hard commit. Rascal being the only person to fall down, well, does have the ability to sprint back, so I'll be out of position for the start of this fight. Expect him to get back pretty soon.
Here they go, pushing forward as Miro goes jumping in. Corridor thrown down onto Void. It's a bit of damage, but overall going to be relatively healthy here, and they're actually able to trade one onto the Winston.
And Miro already dead on the side of Lunatic-Hai, so already again the commitment. It's the second time we've seen them be forced to retreat here. Lunatic-Hai have been known for their first pushes and being the efficiency of doing that, but Rascal's were able to get back into the high ground, Birdring hit that first all-important hook, and the Disco goes down. Nice snipe away by Rascal.
Yeah, the Helix Rockets connecting in with the Zenyatta, taking him out really good, and that's going to be a major split spawn here for Lunatic-Hai. And off that last push, one of the most crucial things is stopping Miro from building up that meter. Won't have the primal range to knock everybody off to try to get that cap to start to come through. He's only at 60% at the moment.
And then, of course, Jaehong finally has built up the Transcendence. If they can watch the Biotic Grenade go down as looking for the
big miss
backfill.
on the pulse bomb,
Get
but
it!
actually Rascal walked into it. Could have just jumped off the high ground, but wanted to maintain it. And he pays for that one with his life. Eska now jumping into the back, looking for Luffy. The sound barrier comes down, keeping that Ana alive, at least for the moment. So gets swiped on, and speaking of swiping, who are you? Comes out with the Dragon Blade, immediately gets knocked down by the Earth Shatter, however, and he gets taken out as Void just jumps right on top of him. Hongdu still holding on, but finally the push is coming in for Lunatic-Hai. They're getting a little bit of percentage on that meter, but they haven't made the first tick.
Yeah, sick Earth Chatter by Fisher, aptly named for what he needed to do in that position, as Rascal is going to get sniped away, so split spawn is going to happen here for Kongdu Panthera. Their only hit scan DPS is taken down. Remember the shorter respawns here.
Push in. Yeah, Lunatic-Hai. They're just going to go ahead and storm in onto the point. You can hear that Dragon Blade coming out yet again.
Eska actually taken out by Fisher offside the point despite Transcendence going up. Double kill for Fisher.
Yeah, really big showing here so far. Resident Reinhardt swinging away, trying to pop that mech. Rascal will chase in. Not going to find anything, though.
Fisher has been a complete monster on this first point defense, doing all the heavy lifting himself. The dueling going pretty even, but Fisher has really allowed Lunatic-Hai to be frustrated on their first point offense, and this is probably going to be their final push. And when you look for tools for Lunatic-Hai, they have basically some ultimates, but they don't have the Transcendence to really set up a free Dragon Blade.
They do still have that Dragon Blade, though. I thought I heard it go off, but it wasn't available yet for Who Are You, so he's still building up that percentage. Miss here by me. See that Discord Orb coming out. Pulse Bomb thrown down, but he gets the shield to block it out in time. Has another Earth Shatter ready to go. Self-destruct comes through as they try to kite back. Will be able to hide behind that Reinhardt shield. Throws it out. Not going to find anything, though. The barrier is still blocking. Charges in, won't get the pin, but still they're able to take out Jaehong. They're able to take out Miro, and that's going to buy so much crucial time here for Kongdu. Lunatic-Hai trying to respond with that sound barrier, but it's just getting shredded down. Get one in onto Fisher as they still just try to push past this first tick. They're not getting much on this point.
The respawns might just be enough, although Rascal is cleaning up one after the other. A couple down.
For Who Are You? He hits the ground, goes off the point, and now it's into overtime. Kongdu Panthera, really firm hold. Meter drops down to about half. Lunatic-Hai tags back in, but you can see the kill meter right there coming through. Rascal still just popping off on this Tracer, getting rid of his adversary in Eska. And Miro still buying time, gets rid of the mech, has that primal rage. The boop from Toby, finally getting rid of the Tracer. That might just be the cap as they make the second tick.
Yeah, Jaehong had to flex onto the Soldier. The first lineup change for Lunatic-Hai was basically 20 seconds before they were running into overtime, but got onto the point with the extra movement speed. Triple DPS, not in a way that we expected. Just enough to get the first point. But now the payload starts pushing, and the time bank, it's anything but generous.
Yeah, it's very minuscule here. 2 minutes just over for Lunatic-Hai to try to get all the way across the bridge to point B.
Lunatic-Hai have been so good at perfecting the dive comp, but so stubborn in this game that they've lost a lot of the time back. They're going to need a really good Castles phase here, pushing through what it feels like a Streets phase and getting on, because for now, any stall of the payload is basically map over.
Yeah. Well, Rascal tossing out that pulse bomb. Didn't find anything, though. Still can build up another one, but actually might not get the opportunity. Toby again takes him out. Gets rid of him. That's going to be the pulse bomb thrown out by Eska. Takes Fisher down very low, but he's able to leap his way out to safety, but the rest of the team might not be able to say the same as he chases in. Looking to get rid of Waka Waka. Tries to kite back. He goes low enough, but it forces out the recall. The Lucio will stay alive. This is a lot of time being bought by Lunatic-Hai as they start this push up towards that bridge.
Eska falls, so that will stall things out a little bit as well. That mosquito that is Tracer falls down. It's not like Kongdu Panthera is really playing a comp that profits from the high ground. They very much are happy to drop down with the comp they have. No hit scan on the side. Kongdu Panthera. Ult economy looking good for Lunatic-Hai though. Birdring, of course, swapped over to the Genji, away from the Roadhog who was running on point A.
Could have the Resident Genji battle coming through as the Dragon Blade's almost there for him. Sound barrier comes down as Who Are You draws in. Dashing in, trying to take out Luffy, is able to do so with the help of the Diva. Get 2 picks, and Lunatic-Hai just going to keep that payload moving forward as best as they can. Who are you? Gets knocked off the map. No recovery from that one as Fisher just pummels him with the Primal Rage. Now trying to find Eska dashing forward with the Tracer. A bit too elusive for him, it seems. Look at the recall off, and Kongdu Panthera, they still have to posture back across the bridge. Maybe even just concede this point over to Lunatic-Hai.
The big investment there on the Primal Rage just to try and stall the payload, but didn't get much stalling. It's going to be a last-second defense, you have to imagine, on point B, unless they can be frustrated by Eska.
Well, it's right there. They go ahead, they get it. Minute and 45 seconds on the clock now for Lunatic-Hai. So Kongdu Panthera still doing well to buy time to reduce that meter. Or the time bank, rather, but it's just not stopping this onslaught from Lunatic-Hai as they continue the push. Make their way in. The rubble will crumble down into the opening.
You have to wonder, using the Primal Rage to buy time, then being forced out and not being able to contest at the last second as is customary at the end of point B. May have been a question mark for the side of Panthera. Now Fisher has jumped onto the Reinhardt, so important in some of these chokes.
It's going to be the Dragon Blade drawn out here. Birdring, he goes low, and the Transcendence gets forced out for Yu Jae-Hong. Very reactive, well-timed ultimate by him to keep himself alive. Self-destruct coming through from Lunatic-Hai, not going to find a pick. But they still have many members very low on the side of Kongdu Panthera. As they try to round this final corner, Yu playing very far forward, looking for those guaranteed shuriken hits so he can get that Dragon Blade. Dashes into the backside, has it, the Discord Orb.
Sleep Dart!
That's going to be the Sleep Dart coming out from Luffy, locks him in. Still has a couple seconds left as he tries to take out the Ana, won't be able to do so, and gets burned out by Rascal. The beam taking out the Genji. Now Fisher charging in, doesn't have the pin. Has to throw up the shield as that Discord Orb comes down to the backside, needs to keep himself alive, needs this Earth Shatter to land. For now, they have a Graviton Surge, and that just might be the team kill coming through for Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, really nice turnaround there. Looked like Fisher gone too deep, but in the Pandemonium, able to clean up and not even having to invest Birdring's ultimate to do it. So they come in with 4 ults, only Rascal and Waka Waka short of ultimate. And Lunatic-Hai is going to have to be one hell of a dry push here with no ult bank apart from the Pulse Bomb. Watch for the Pulse Bomb because it could decide this last fight.
Eska needs a big opening, and Fisher, he can land this Earth Shatter, would be absolutely huge. The self-destruct comes through, zoning them off the payload, at least for the moment, as we enter into overtime. And Toby has already fallen. Earth Shatter coming down, and they're just swinging their way to victory. Pop the mech, they pop the Diva, and Who Are You falls. Now Team Wipe effectively coming through in favor of Kongdu Panthera as Eska desperately tries to buy time. There's only so much a lone Tracer can do. He will fall, and Kongdu Panthera will hold firm at the final corner before point C.
Yeah, Kongdu Panthera on point A, and the path to point C can feel very good about this game, but Lunatic-Hai showed their class in the second phase. Getting point B so confidently with basically no halting of the cart. Question marks will be on the use of the Primal Rage right at the last, but not able to have it available to stall and buy time meant no contest on point B, getting through those big double doors into the castle. Still, no full complete, but given that Eichenwald is a hybrid map that is super hard to full complete, even at the competitive level, you feel pretty decent if you're Lunatic-Hai, given the fact that you capped point A in overtime.
Yeah. The amount of distance that they were able to close, despite the start of this map, was pretty damn impressive here for Lunatic-Hai. We'll see just how good their defense is going to be. See, at the moment, still working with this dive composition. Jae-Hong at the moment hovering over the Ana, so maybe we'll see this one come through rather than that Zenyatta.
Yeah, defensive dive comp would suggest that perhaps they're looking to shut down someone like Waka Waka, or in general, someone running the Widowmaker. Be a weird thing to open on Eichenwald, but we have seen it before.
I mean, honestly, this point A is something that we could see the Pharah used on yet again here for Kongdu Panthera.
There's some really interesting approaches if you run Pharmacy, going around the castle and coming behind, kind of negating the defensive coverage that's provided by the house at the back of point A. Never sure with Kongdu Panthera. We've already seen multiple flexes between the DPS duo, Birdring and Rascal. Every time Waka Waka hovers anything other than Lucio, the Bible Thumb start, of course.
He's not allowed. It's in his contract. He can't lock anything other than Lucio.
Well, Mirren's going to have...
He's just having a sit down.
He is. Considering his options on his trademark Winston.
Well, they're going to try to spot him out, and they do. They see him there. The Sonic Arrow coming through. It looks like it's just going to be dive comp match by dive comp. The Luffy is coming through with that Zenyatta thus far. Who Are You waiting around the corner? Immediately gets that recall out from Rascal, shutting him down and forcing him back. Already the contention coming through as Miro goes down. Rascal picking him off.
Yeah, they overextended there with the defensive dive come to get a pick on someone like Rascal, and actually Miro going down first is pretty damn significant. Whooryu falls low, but will get back.
Jaehong and Toby both get taken out. The pulse bomb comes through and finds Whooryu. They also get the mech from the D.Va. A double kill effectively here from Rascal and Lunatic-Hai. The team wipe already almost completed, and you can see the smile on his face, Rascal, knowing just how much work he's doing for his team as they go ahead and they cap this just under 6 minutes in the time bank.
Yeah, second time we've seen a really high-risk opening from Lunatic-Hai, going for the defensive opening, but specifically positioning so aggressively right next to the stairs that Tracers like to go to poke around the back. Punished in just about the most emphatic way possible. Mirror take, or completely opposite take, I should say, between Kongdu Panthera and Lunatic-Hai, as Lunatic-Hai frustrated until overtime, and now a really big time bank to get through this castle phase.
Yeah, absolutely massive. This could be one hell of a defense here from Lunatic-Hai if they can pull it off.
Here's the first drop down.
So, yeah, already going to have to exit those Whooryu, dashing his way back out. About 50% on that ultimate at the moment. He's definitely going to need a massive Dragon Blade to try to turn around this push. The nano boost coming through into Miro, but automatically has that Discord Orb tossed down on top of him. He tries to get out of there, but he just cannot do it. He gets taken out. The rest of the team is falling one by one. Toby going down a Dragon Blade, drawn out by Birdring, coming up huge. Another effective wipe for Kongdu Panthera, and the payload will just keep on moving.
Yeah, Lunatic-Hai invested the only ultimate they had, the Nano Boost, to try and stall the cut at one of the first times of asking, but the Discord Orb negated a lot of the extra defenses by the Nano Boost, and this push is looking eerily like Lunatic-Hai's.
Rascal looking for somebody, has that pulse bomb ready to go, doesn't toss it out as Jaehong. It's not even required to take him out, they just find him. Toby desperately trying to get away as he just runs on the top of the ramparts, keeps himself alive, at least for the moment. It's just the one kill. Primal Rage going to be matched here by Miro. Trying to knock them away, trying to knock them off the map. Birdring does go down as he falls off. But still.
Bye, Fisher.
Yep, goodbye. Didn't have the leap ready to go. So Miro buying some very crucial time here for Lunatic-Hai on the defense. But they're firing back. Rascal finding Eska. Self-destruct tossed out, dashes in, gets just underneath of the payload in time to keep himself alive. But you can see they have to abandon this push. But it's 4 minutes on the clock, and they only have a couple meters left to go.
But still, this is a really awkward spot for the payload to be halted. Kongdu Panthera weren't able to do this on their defense due to using the Primal Rage a little bit early, and now the passage you take to get back to the cart can be risky in different ways. We'll see if there's any big hero changes. For now, it doesn't seem like that will be the way on Kongdu Panthera.
Oh, in the back line, Pulse Bomb connects on the Toby. Wow. They take him out. A nice opening already here. Kick things off for Kongdu Panthera as they try to continue the push. Rascal on the payload at the moment, moving it up steadily as it gets closer and closer. Dragon Blade drawn out by Whooryu, chasing in, trying to find Lumpy. Is able to get him out. But still, they're losing multiple members. He wins the trade in onto Birdring, gets taken out by Fisher. Nothing he can do against that Tesla gun. He goes down. Zumba trying to buy some time, but he's not going to be able to stop this one. The second point about to come through.
Primal Rage invested here. They really want to cap it on this push. It ticks over in 4 minutes 28 to just take it around the last bend and close the map.
Yeah. And I mean, that looked a little bit questionable there, using that Primal Rage, but because of how much time is in the bank for Kongdu Panthera, I think you coined this one during the promotion tournament. They have plenty of eco pushes that they can use to just build up these meters time and time again.
And it's not like Lunatic-Hai has got a massive arsenal of ultimates either.
He also just swapped, so that's also fine.
Look at that.
He's going to be looking for that big Kaiser opening.
I mean, you can't argue with the effectiveness. It got them the point that could have been delayed by the Tracer, and also gets him on the Reinhardt, which can be so massive on this point, as Kaiser, of course, has famously shown us. So far, pushing without too much congestion. Jaehong has the Transcendence.
Self-destruct tossed out. It's going to be the Transcendence out in the backside here. Waka Waka gets the pop in onto Zumba's mech. He's right in the leg. Transcendence matched by Kongdu Panthera. Now the opening coming through. Sound barrier on both teams and Birdring. Fresh, he swapped over onto this McCree, just trying to snipe out the Winston. The Discord Orb there, but he still just can't find the damage. Fisher, he gets Toby with a Flame Strike. Big openings as both of the supports go down. And this push might just continue. As Fisher swings his way to success yet again, getting rid of the D.Va. Deadeye thrown out, not going to find anybody. They're all just piling in behind the Reinhardt shield. The payload's right there. They need to contest this. Big shield thrown out by Miro, does block that Earth Shatter, but he gets pushed off for a second, and they get it. Eichenwald over to Kongdu Panthera, and now match point already up against Lunatic-Hai.
Feels like Kongdu Panthera have been practicing their rock, paper, scissors, because even on the final point, we saw the Winston ult used, instant change to Reinhardt, the change over also onto McCree from Birdring, just for another anti-Whooryu tech to have just the little advantage, and they just free shot away. Already had Deadeye to zone at the end, and it looked pretty academic for Kongdu Panthera and Lunatic-Hai. Definitely looks like they've been slow starters in this best of 5 because backs against the wall at the first break was the last thing I expected, even with the whispers of Kongdu Panthera's scrim result around Korea.
I mean, we heard from Eska in that interview, said, you know, we run the best dive comp, but they're being so stubborn, just trying to pull it off time and time again, not swapping the different heroes fast enough in these games. And Kongdu Panthera, they're just taking the reins.
Yeah, first impression of Birdring and Rascal and the champion flexibility, or hero flexibility, I should say, that it gives Kongdu Panthera. Big thumbs up, A+, only based on 2 maps admittedly, but they already showed they basically have a hero ocean compared to pretty narrow hero selections for Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, Rascal especially really destroying on picks such as that Tracer, coming up huge. That is going to be match point there for Kongdu Panthera. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if they can close this out with a 3-0. Or if Lunatic-Hai will extend this series. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. You do not want to miss the end of this first set here at Apex Season 3.
봄꽃책에서 듣다. 있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다.
노력은 선수를 만들고 코어 i7 프로세서는 멈추지 않는 파워를 드립니다.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 3. Just joining us, I'm Achilleos. With me is Papa Smithy, and we are now at match point, surprisingly, you definitely have to say, as Kongdu Panthera has convincingly taken down Lunatic-Hai now in 2 maps.
The Sea of Change was always going to be there for Apex Season 3, but not like this. This was not the way I expected to open up the point. I really liked what Kongdu Panthera did, bringing in the superstar DPS, or basically putting them both onto Kongdu Panthera, just having insane DPS skill. Rascal, I believe, 2nd overall on the Korean ladder as we speak. And we wondered, where would the hero pool go? And it's a hero ocean is kind of how I'm coining it, because they've already flexed, and we've seen basically every hero in the meta represented from Kongdu Panthera and Lunatic-Hai. Back to their Season 1, and I guess you would say Season 2 strategy of sticking with what they do best. They've always had focused but better performance on big meta heroes, and didn't really feel like we got that out of them in map 1 or 2.
Yeah, they're really struggling thus far, and now as we move forward onto our assault maps, it's going to be Volskaya Industries to kick things off. We saw how convincingly Kongdu Panthera was able to win on Ilios. So, kind of take that same logic, same feel of the map, apply it where there's just 2 points instead of 1 to fight over. And maybe Kongdu will have the upper hand yet again and close this out very swiftly. Lunatic-Hai fans, it's going to be a bit of a distraught feeling at this point, you'd have to say.
I can't disagree with you at all. It might actually be the first time Kongdu Panthera, at least since Apex Season 1, have actually played Volskaya. Hasn't been a big map for them. 2-0 for Lunatic-Hai on that map. And you're right, backs against the wall already for Lunatic-Hai. Well, we just see them once again go on the dive that was so faithful for them in Season 2, or will they show us something new? Because not many more opportunities after this.
Yeah, well, so far, really good start here for Kongdu Panthera. This is where it really matters. They can close out with 3-0. Be such a strong showing to everybody else in their group. Let's see if they can do it. Or if Lunatic-Hai will fire back as we dive onto our potentially last map here in the first match. Go to Volskaya Industries.
I get it.
Just want to say, that cheer there for Lunatic-Hai, they make up probably about 80% of the audience at the moment, and Kongdu Panthera is still shining through with their cheer there.
They're allowed 20%, and when you look at the fan vote for this game, I'm sure it was about around the same percentages, Achilleos. But the play certainly hasn't fallen in line with expectation. Kongdu Panthera validating some of the rumors about their ability. From scrims, off the competitive scale. Lunatic-Hai already proven at the highest level. They come in as reigning champions. We should mention, because we're on Volskaya and it will probably be a very big factor, we are still on the April 17th patch 1.10.0.2b. Blizzard, please slow down with some of these names. Give us some more readable names there. But basically all you need to know is there's no minimum 33% capture, 1/3 capture on these points that there is on live as of today. It's back in the past, so we could definitely see some low percentages having to be defended on Volskaya.
See what happens here. Lunatic-Hai goes over to the attack, looking like, yet again, that pseudo dive comp coming through, but this time Eska not starting things off on the Tracer, will be on Widowmaker. But little do they know, there is a Sombra waiting for them on the other side of the map.
It could be a lot of healing, because they have 2 dedicated healers and also Rascal's hacked healing packs.
Here he comes right into the back line, trying to take somebody out. Jukes his way back. The translocator just in the last second, almost goes down. Still builds up quite a lot of meter, already 60% on that EMP ready to go.
It was his Sombra on King's Row that gave us another confirmation of Rascal's flexibility as a player. But who are you? Already into the back line trying to farm up some of that percentage, but not many people can match a Sombra when it comes to ult building.
Yeah, Rascal nearly has it. You can see the high ground being contained thus far. He's going to jump in, looking for a hack onto somebody. Won't quite get it off in time.
It is a defensive dive if you think about it from Kongdu. They definitely don't have any static defense. Rascal in the backline trying to deal with his Widowmaker.
Looking for Eska, gets him with the help of Bird Ring. They take him out. Now the EMP is ready to go. As those hacked health packs coming through, so he can just keep topped off. And Lunatic-Hai are getting stomped out yet again. 3 members already going down at the start of this push. Kongdu Panthera buying themselves quite a bit of time. 3 minutes on the clock.
They're the only team that has actually staunchly played the Sombra from a DPS player, not from a support like we saw from Luxury Watch Blue, like we saw in the promotion tournament from Combog Spirit. They're happy to run it with Rascals. We're going to have a slight pause here. And the reward you get is that you have the Lucio and Ana, the healing duo, the premier healing duo, but also the hacked healing packs, a very fast first snowball ultimate. And suddenly, if you win that first hold, with this pseudo dive comp, Tracer and Sombra as the diving threats, you know you're going to have the access to the EMP on the next push, and that's enough as a solo ult to stall out again. Maybe it's going to be a return to Eichenwald for Lunatic-Hai and a very late potential capture of point A.
Well, you can see right here, PC issue on your screen. Assuming that this is inside the booth of Lunatic-Hai. We haven't gotten confirmation of that yet. It might be Toby here. So, just going to have to go ahead and go to a quick little break as we try to figure out the issues and get this all taken care of.
Hopefully nothing will hold out too long as well. Time for selfies for the Kongdu team.
Rascal, he's going to ham it up. His teammate's just going to take a nap.
That's definitely the sort of clip that people will clip out of context after the fact if they lose, especially and bet, well, overconfidence, they were 2-0 up. It's off on the side of Kongdu. But Lunatic-Hai, it's been pretty curious, honestly, if we look back at the last two maps. Again,
that's a good way to put it.
They were never known to really be very free with changing between heroes, one of the core mechanics of Overwatch compared to other games. They were always more, well, we've got the best Winston player, we've got the best Ana player, plug and play the rest, it'll work out. And it's not working out in this game. It's the fact that Kongdu Panthera and their flexibility between Rascal and Birdring in particular, and surprisingly robust play from a debutant on stage in Void, Waka Waka in his first competitive game as support on the new Lucio. It feels like the supporting cast is what we weren't sure about, because we knew that Rascal and Birdring were stars. They showed it on Panthera and Uncia respectively, but seeing new players and role swap players also play at a comparable level to facilitate these DPS duo, the expectations for Kongdu Panthera, especially if they can close it and win here, and even if they're reverse swept in runaway-esque fashion, they've already shown on two maps that there's something about Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on Kongdu having really good individual performances. Fisher as well, coming in with that Reinhardt with his Winston play, been pretty on point, knowing when to pop those primal rages, buying a lot of time, and the target selection overall from this team has been absolutely excellent, always just going straight for Toby and Ryu Jae-hong every single time.
And look, those things are expected for the side of Lunatic-Hai, right? They're the team that perfected that sort of play, is finally jumping back into game, to recap, at about 2 minutes 30 on the push here.
Seems like we got everything taken care of, so we can go ahead and continue this one out. Zuba pushing in from the sidelines, the EMP comes down, and in comes the
shooting gallery.
Fisher just jumping forward as they just take him out one at a time. Miro tries to leap his way back to the spawn, but gets sniped out in midair by Birdring as they finish him off, and this is just going to be a nice little wipe here for Kongdu Panthera as they keep holding firmly.
And again, that's what happens when you get the EMP, when you hold first point as a Sombra team. Lunatic-Hai is like, well, we're close to ult, eco push time, and already they lose 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds of their time bank from a single ultimate. Still more ults available.
Oh my god, Birdring going on a secret mission here.
Wants to find a
for
support.
the healers in the back. Going to open up here onto Toby, dashes around the sidelines, now looking for Jae-hong. They're both going low, is able to take out Zumba to start things off, gets the recall, pop back up to full HP. Finds Ryu and Miro, still has the pulse bomb ready to go, but actually gets taken out by S because he dashes forward.
Both the FPS is dead, and neither of them grouped because there were other picks. Probably not going to be biggest cost here for Kongdu Panthera. Rascal should be rejoining his tank and support line shortly. But that is what we call ultimate economy for Lunatic-Hai. They have all 6 ultimates, no EMP to potentially slow down the onslaught. Sometimes you just pile in, everyone presses Q, and it works out, and that's what Lunatic-Hai are hoping for in this push.
Well, already almost getting the pop there onto Void. They do knock him out of the back, and they get sniped out by the tack visor from Zumba, but now he's getting jumped on. They're able to get Birdring, who's trying to flank around from the backside. A leap forward comes out here from Fisher, but the Discord Orb makes very quick work of him as he goes down, and Lunatic-Hai finally started to open up this point. They'll get the first tick, and that should just be the concede coming in. Kongdu Panthera want themselves a lot of time, less than a minute here for Lunatic-Hai, but they keep their hopes alive of extending this series.
Yep, so 45 seconds, 4 minutes 45 after the 4 minutes are added on to push point B. The snowball captures is what it's all about on Volskaya. The hardest, I would say, of the 2-point capture assault maps to claim. They still have some great ultimates on the side of Lunatic-Hai, but you look on Kongdu Panthera's, could all rely on a big EMP to stop the snowball capture because certainly we expect a pretty aggressive opening shortly from Lunatic-Hai.
Rascal already started to dash around. Pulse
Double.
Bomb comes through. They find Waka Waka, and Birdring gets taken out by Who Are You on the backside of the fight. The Nano Boost coming through from Luffy onto Fisher, just trying to keep him alive, trying to keep him topped off. This guy has to dash back as Void goes forward, trying to take him out. But overall, Lunatic-Hai starting to try to get this push in, but they're losing a couple members. Dragon Blade from Who Are You, however, buying them quite a bit of time, getting rid of lots of members of Kongdu Panthera as they dash forward, trying to finish off the last. Miro comes up with a kill on the Waka Waka. They're onto the point, but they haven't gotten much yet. First tick about to come through. And now it's going to be all about the chain contention from Kongdu Panthera. See how much time they can buy for themselves as they just keep piling back in onto the point. That Primal Rage coming up from Fisher, trying to smack them off as best as he can. Rascal goes low. For you looking for an opening, trying to build up for another Dragon Blade as best as he can.
2 picks probably means it's going to have to be the hangback from Lunatic-Hai. Very unrealistic to claim. And we've already lost 2 members, so Kongdu Panthera can finally breathe for a moment after their good first point defense and
Really good opening by Who Are You.
see what they want to set up with. For now, actually sticking with the Sombra, with EMP available again, understandable. Didn't have to get too emergency with their hero selections to keep the point contested. Just a single checkpoint, Lunatic-Hai. I liked Who Are You really holding onto the Dragon Blade to try and clean up at the end, but the turnaround double kill was enough to halt the onslaught from Lunatic-Hai.
Birdring going on yet another mission here. Trying to find somebody on the backside. He'll get spotted out, however. Just has to dash away. Goes really low. The recall's going to take him to an unsafe spot. Dashes around the sidelines. Does have that hacked health pack to try to keep himself alive, but he's going to forego that. Doesn't want to get sniped out by Zumba.
It's triple DPS. Zumba is on the soldier that we mentioned for the second point, but he's hacked.
Yeah, camp off the Dak Visor. Now has to kite back, going low. The heals finally coming in to keep him topped off as Birdring comes yet again from the sidelines. Has the pulse bomb, does not toss it out still, just showing restraint with his ultimate.
Triple DPS lineup really wants to chain all 3 ultimates and the Transcendence. Still farming up Who Are You's Dragon Blade at 73%. They don't have something like the Zarya, which for the longest time was needed if you didn't get the snowball capture onto point B. So they really need to effectively use the Transcendence, I would have to say, to be able to claim the second point. Couple of pushes remaining for Lunatic-Hai.
Lunatic-Hai, honestly, they're very close to having 6 ultimates. Eska should be able to build that up very quickly. Already pushing forward, the Transcendence comes out from Rio Jae-Hong, and that's going to be the attack visor drawn out. Void, he gets popped outside of the map, going down. The first one to get killed on the push. Waka Waka falls as well, but Zumba gets taken out by Rascal, going to the back line with that Sombra. And now they're starting to clean up here. Kongdu Panthera, as they maintain control over the point, but Birdring will lose that 1v1 duel against the enemy Tracer. Not a lot of push coming through from Lunatic-Hai. Might just have to go ahead and back off yet again.
And even though it was starting to look good for Lunatic-Hai, they were largely trading kills as Rascal will snap back.
Put himself alive. Yet again, having that nice 200 HP health back to yourself is feels pretty good, man. But now jumping in, EMP comes down as they look for the wipe. Luffy already falling low, gets taken out here by Zumba, but the answer with the kill onto Ryu. How much more can Kongju get? They're losing members, trading back and forth as Rascal falls. This could be an opening now for Lunatic-Hai. Pulse Bomb not going to find anything. They try to build back up, but getting gate kept here by Fisher with that Primal Rage, just smacking them, keeping them inside of the choke.
Yeah, Rascal respawning, only went 1 for 1 with the EMP, but did halt once again, Lunatic-Hai.
Pulse Bomb comes out, not going to find anything, does not get the stick. Keeps himself alive, and the clock is now down to about 45 seconds here for Lunatic-Hai. One final push, a couple ultimates will be available for them to use the attack visor and the sound barrier. They need to make so much happen here in such a short amount of time. Sound barrier comes down from Kongdu Panthera as they try to get these kills, trying to stagger these respawns, delay them even further. Nano boost in onto Fisher as he dives into the backside, drawing everybody out, just buying time for his team. He will go down.
Ultimates left for
Quite
Kongdu
a bit of work here.
Panthera.
Toby gets taken out by Rascal. Zumba pushing in, trying to get this pop onto the mech here from Void, but just cannot find it. Gets chased in on by Birdring, who makes it out with the recall. 15 seconds left, and this is looking like a really good hold for Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, Mira only now respawns. It's going to have to be Eska and the rest of Lunatic-Hai's squishy members delaying for the tanks to get back. EMP available. See Rascal going in aggressively.
Yep, comes out of the stealth, gets a hack down, looking for the EMP. Will go ahead and toss this one out. Dragon Blade here from Who Are You, but immediately gets that heal deny coming out. Down to 26 HP as he pops the mech here from the Diva. Gets chased in on by Void, and he'll go down. Nice picks coming in, but Waka Waka and Birdring also lose their lives as Lunatic-Hai tries to contest this in overtime. Only the 1 tick so far for themselves. Need a lot more than that. They want to keep their hopes alive. Pulse Bomb comes down from Eska. Not going to find anything, but they do get Fisher out of the air, and the attack visor with an Nano Boost comes through. They take out Luffy. Lunatic-Hai finally looking to take this point, but they're being delayed so much here by Birdring and Waka Waka.
The needs to stay alive. Buy time for the respawns. 1 kill onto Zunba.
Yeah, gets the pulse bomb down, gets rid of Zumba, but he gets taken out immediately. Second tick now achieved by Lunatic-Hai and Kong to Panthera. They just don't have the respawns yet. Coming in one at a time as they just try to delay as much as possible. If they step off of this for 1 second, Lunatic-Hai will lose this.
Luffy's coming back, now has the nano boost used already, but more kills, only Fisher on the point.
Trying to get the heals coming in, but he's just not able to do it. The sound barrier there from Lunatic-Hai keeping them healthy, and finally the tick going back forward. Rascal all on his lonesome as Void respawns. They look to delay this one, but they have to push off. Rascal diving back in, buys a little bit of time, but it's a fraction of a second too little. The cap will come through in overtime here for Lunatic-Hai.
Getting 3 kills just as overtime started meant that the respawns could never be the stream needed to hold on to Volskaya, but not a huge celebration for Lunatic-Hai. Only an overtime capture, and so far we've seen the attack phases for Kongdu Panthera be successful on first time of asking. Managed to stick the landing, going for that triple DPS comp. No sign of the Zarya, sticking with Zumba on the soldier. Do pick up the capture, and we'll have to see some more attention onto the side of Lunatic-Hai's PCs to firmly get over the earlier error.
Yeah, seems like we're going to have a PC change coming in here for the side of Lunatic-Hai, so this is just going to be a bit of a pause before we flip over into the second half of Volskaya, where we'll see Kongdu Panthera on the attack. So we'll get this swapped out, get him booted up, and back in the game. Seems like Toby having the issues here.
Reminds me of Yu Hung's interview where they were talking about trying to play to the meta, clearly following some of the Western metas with Rogue's triple DPS, for example, and some of the other teams that have been running that internationally. Roadhog, not really a big thing for them today, but they've been trying to correct all the gaps. But surprisingly, it's been the standbys that have perhaps been more at fault here. It feels like this comps that were working so well for them a month ago, the same efficiency is not there. Of course, the rust might be there, not having played competitively on this stage for a few weeks. But it's not the Lunatic-Hai we remember, and may not be the Lunatic-Hai we see in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. Could just be those first date jitters, you know, gotta go ahead, shake them off, get back into things, into the groove of the competition, and then start climbing their way back out.
I wonder if we'll see more of DPS players playing Sombra. It was feeling by the end of the promotion tournament to again be the Ana player flexing away from Ana onto the Sombra, but what it gives is, if you have the tracking that Rascal does and his ability to enter the backline with EMP, every push and a half, second push, I would guess you would have to say, the amount of healing, if we had a healing done stat for Kongdu Panthera, of course, talking about the hacked healing packs and the extra health that gave, you would have to think the health gained by Kongdu Panthera was just markedly more than whatever Lunatic-Hai could do, just having access to what feels like a pseudo-healer in the DPS role. So I wonder if that will become a new meta staple, if that's just a Rascal-specific strategy. That's information we don't have, but really interesting to see because it wasn't a point A chi strategy. He held onto it till the last and did not change hero the entire time.
Yeah. Well, just working through this swap here. The assistant's in the booth, trying to get this all set up and squared away so we can jump back in. Going 0-3 on your first day, on your first match here for Lunatic-Hai. Be a pretty bad way to start off a season where every single win counts, especially in that first round.
And our reigning champions, Envious in Season 2, had their big struggles in their first match. It was a 3-2 victory for them from memory against, I think it was MVP Space, I could be misspeaking, but it was against a unfancied opponent on that day. But regardless, it was all about the second ever reigning champion, Lunatic-Hai, really need to step up. We thought it would be comfortable given Kongdu had the bigger shifts, but suddenly, again, full eyes on Lunatic-Hai, which when it comes to Korean Overwatch, is not a unique thing.
No, certainly not. I mean, even beyond Korean Overwatch, international Overwatch, overall, that is, they are the team that has been watched for quite some time. But seeing them struggle like this, definitely out of the norm.
Seeing them run triple DPS, mouth-watering stuff against Rogue in a future match in this group, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because we already talked about Kongdu Panthera, noticing they were running mirror dive comps and switching over to the pharmacy tech. Who switches first? That's kind of the fun story. If we ever see triple DPS on both sides, we come on the screen.
Hello
guys.
again.
We're not Monty and Doa at all.
Nope.
We are
New and improved.
Well, okay, sure. We'll say that. Let's go really confident. No nervousness here whatsoever. We are part of the casting team. we decided that 2 wasn't enough to replace Monty and Doa. So
No.
we've got some reinforcements you'll be seeing on Tuesday as Atlas and Wolf will make their Apex debut that day. But again, triple DPS Rogue, triple DPS coming through from Lunatic-Hai, our champions. Even just the mind game of who swaps first will be just fascinating. That's the popcorn.gif right there.
Yeah, it'll be.
I said GIF right, by the way. Where are you on the GIF argument?
I say GIF.
I also usually say GIF. For some reason I said GIF. Maybe I'm trying to be a little bit more fancy with my fancy suit.
Well, I don't know if they have it in Australia, you know, where you grew up or anything. But
Yes.
for me, GIF is a peanut butter.
Really? Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. GIF, where we are, is a cleaning product.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, very different.
You put a little GIF on and it's clean, you know, buff
Okay.
it up. Yeah.
One you want to give to your children, and the other you definitely do not.
You still end up, well, actually one leads to the other if you think about it, because usually the peanut butter is just kind of messed somewhere and then someone
That's
has to
true.
clean it. So
Clean up your GIF with some GIF.
maybe a bit awkward when you're describing GIF to, you know, grab the GIF. You
They
wouldn't
should
know
just
what's
sell them.
happening.
We should just sell them together. Just have like a nice little wrapped package, just GIF all together. You can see some foreign fans showing up for the games here today.
Could also be Blizzard employees who weren't informed.
I think I recognize a few of them, so they might very well could be Blizzard employees. Either way, happy to have them here in our sold-out crowd. If they are fans, you know, very good credit to them for getting tickets today.
I mean, this is a hot ticket. This, from what we were told by our producer, today sold in 15 seconds. Now, the Lunatic-Hai fans are the most fanatical by far, for
Yes.
sure, but
That's
Apex is a hot ticket, and today's matches, I mean, I believe it was sold out before the matches came out, so it's kind of just the Apex name being enough, but
Yeah.
you feel pretty good when you went for first day Apex, and you're like, oh, okay, today's the day.
I'm glad I got this
Yep.
one. So definitely lucked out on that one. But here's some music.
That's fighting music right there.
That is fighting music. So it seems like we might have everything taken care of, perhaps. Or maybe we're going to a break. I don't really know. Taking a look at the players, though. So it seems like things are going to be all right.
Well, it doesn't say coming up next. I think we're safe for now. I think we're going into the second attack. Coming through from Congo
All
Panthera.
right. It does certainly look that way. Here we go. Hopefully the PC swap is taking care of all of the issues as we go ahead and rotate over Lunatic-Hai now on the defense.
What will the offense look like from Kongdu Panthera? When we saw them attacking on Eichenwald, it was a pretty prototypical dive comp. Many schools of thought on how to attack Point A Volskaya. Certainly could see something like the pharmacy that we saw on Lighthouse on Ilios in the first round.
I mean, if you want to maximize your offense, you want to be as offensive as possible. What would you go? I guess like Hanzo thrown in there.
Some Shimada brothers.
Yeah.
Let's get him in there. Well, you never know. We only know that Waka Waka will be playing Lucio.
All right. Well, for now, Kongdu Panthera looking for that dive comp.
Third ring
again
going to
here.
be back onto the Widowmaker there.
Yeah.
First shot always so important.
See what he can get done, and Rascal coming out with the Genji.
Side of Lunatic-Hai. Bit of a
Gonna
balanced
poke in.
comp from them. They do have both the high ground hit scan and also Huryu on his trademark Genji.
Well, everybody's going to go ahead and back off, trying to just hide behind walls. You see that Widowmaker coming through.
Yeah, no sight lines for Birdering yet.
Let's find a soldier, but don't get much beyond that. Poison Trap gets taken out, so it knows that somebody's coming around from the backside. Wraparound comes through from Kongdu Panthera as they try to get down onto this low ground, onto the point, but Birdering's already
And
gone
two
down.
healers.
Yeah, just find them. Cornered completely. Rascal trying to fire away, makes it over to the health pack, buying quite a bit of time here. Is Jae Hong, but in the end might just go down, but actually the boot comes through and Zumba takes out Rascal. Jae Hong stays alive.
Yeah, it looked like it was his birthday come early for Roscoe when he found both healers presumably undefended, but very nice defense coming through from Zumba to push off the Genji. Wasn't able to get back onto the point. So first point will not be claimed at the first time of asking for Kongdu Panthera, at least on this map. That's Eichenwald.
They got the first tick though, so it's a start. You can see already Birdering swapping over onto that Tracer. You know what, the Widowmaker, it's not going to work out. Playing way too conservatively, I can't get any headshots in.
Take the same angle of approach. They dropped down and got that first tick like you mentioned last time, whereas Lunatic-Hai trying to hold the high ground with Ana Soldier in particular. Saw Eska drop down just as we spoke.
Fairly standard so far. Just wrapping around and holding either high ground. There's going to be a nano boost coming through here from the side of Jae Hong as he tosses it out into Who Are You with the Dragon Blade. Goes forward, finds Waka Waka, looking for more. Won't be able to get much, but it still is alive, and that's going to be Lunatic-Hai holding on to the point. Kongdu losing too many members. They have a sleep dart in onto Fisher, and he'll get taken out. Biotic Grenade really just sealing the deal on that one.
You could argue that Luffy's Transcendence did answer Huryu's ult in terms of allowing the eco push to come through for Kongdu Panthera. They do have 4 ultimates, sure. No support ultimates, but very soon to be.
Yeah, sack one.
The sound barrier. So they sacked one at the same time as Huryu came through. Didn't get a claim from it, but still in a really good spot. And this is a very interesting flank coming through from Rascal. As we know, he's flanking with the ultimate.
False bomb thrown down, not going to find any sticks though. Get any damage through it either.
Rascal.
Now Rascal, yeah, draws his own Dragon Blade. The heal deny comes out and he gets taken out immediately. Eska with the tag visor snipes him down and finds Luffy as he rounds the corner. Void knocked out, can't make it back into the mech. The triple kill coming through for the soldier. And that is going to be a big halt here for Kongju Panthera, completely getting shut out of this push. Well, single-handedly there by Eska.
Definitely a betting man if you open with no nano boost with your Dragon Blade onto Ryujay, Hong, and Toby. Able to get through, staying through that damage. And on the other side of the fight, Kongdu Panthera also invested further ultimates. So right now they come out pretty dry, a minute left. And okay, only Zunba with the ultimate on the side of Lunatic-Hai, but gonna have to see some of that amazing tracking from Kongdu Panthera.
All right, we're getting an opening here onto Miro. That's going to be a nice way to start things off. They try to pop the mech here from Zumba. Able to get the self-destruct down. The barrier won't last from Winston, and he actually gets Waka Waka with the explosion. Getting rid of the Lucio, a very crucial pickup. Ryu dashing his way out to safety, makes it back, and has that Nano Blade coming through. Already takes out Luffy. Both the healers from Kongdu Panthera have been eliminated. Rascal takes out Huryu, but gets taken down by Eska, losing out on that soldier battle. Still on the point, they have the second tick, but Kongju Panthera, they're going to have to recoup and go for one final push, but it's going to be without Void on the Diva.
Still on the point right now. The percentage still ticking up. They held for as long as they could, but now it will start to drop away.
It's going to be all about Bird Ring.
Yeah, Void won't get there. He'll be the last one to arrive.
With the Orb of Harmony on him, topping him off as he gets ready to dash in. Dashes in on the sidelines.
Have a numbers
Miro
advantage
here,
for now.
Lock him down. Pulse bomb's ready to go. That's Ryu, and he's still sitting on the point at the moment. They kick it up
It's
a
already
little bit more.
popped.
Comes through as Kongju just keep piling in. You can hear that Primal Rage pop by Miro on the backside. Or by Fisher, rather, on the backside, trying to just smack everybody away. Nice up the struck, comes up the kill on the J-Hog. They get the mech away from Zumba. As that sound barrier comes down, Lunatic-Hai trying to buy as much time as they possibly can.
So you already with the double.
But the push coming through from Primal Rage. Miro just knocking them off, takes them out, gets rid of Bird Ring. Could that be the hold? They're into overtime. Miro's burning away at the mech. Will be able to pop out the Diva. They take out Void, and that's going to be it. They full hold on point A, and Lunatic-Hai, they finally put a map on the board.
All about the tank duo right at the end. Zunba and Miro jump in, clean up the low health members. They've taken out the DPS. They thought the job was done. No job done. Full hold by Lunatic-Hai on Volskaya on their second of map choices. Still backs against the wall, but that familiar reverse sweep feeling. They win another game. Their fans are certainly going to believe in Lunatic-Hai.
I mean, they basically pulled off the reverse sweep in the grand final versus Runaway.
Close enough.
You can do it here now. Be quite a shocking performance. But it's one step in the right direction. Still match point here for Kongju Panthera. Needs to be 2 more maps in a row for Lunatic-Hai if they want to take this set.
Kind of amusing that the first map choice for Kongdu Panthera will be on Escort, because if you remember, they went flawless in the group stage of Apex Season 2 and never actually played Escort, which is the 4th map. So they've only actually played Escort twice in their Apex Season 2 timings, so now they find their first choice on, at least for them, an unfamiliar map type, 1-on-1 on Escort. Lunatic-Hai actually have a losing record on Escort, the only one of the map types they have.
We saw Lunatic-Hai play Route 66 and Dorado during the final.
We never see Gibraltar.
Thankfully. I'm okay with this. Not my favorite map, personally.
Is it Volskaya tier, Gilios?
Oh, yes, you know me so well.
Oh, dear.
We'll see what the selection is going to be as
but
we
that
get ready.
music suggests that we might actually have a pause.
Okay, yeah, tactical pause will come through. So 3 minutes on the clock now for Lunatic-Hai as the coach enters in the booth.
I'm a big fan of the first-person cam walking into the booth. Some sports movie stuff happening here.
Trying to figure this out. It seems like maybe the tactical pause was also used to let some of the players go and alleviate their bladders so they all exit.
That is tactical if you think about it.
That is, yeah. You don't want to be playing while you have to go to the bathroom.
There's tactics of like working out which flank routes come from. There's tactics of making sure the players can be one-track minded on the game.
It's when you complete the reverse sweep and you're so happy and you just let everything go and suddenly you have to go to that fan meet with a big stain on your pants.
I don't know how we got to the yellow snow story here
I don't know.
Achilles.
It evolved pretty quickly during this pause. It's the first tactical pause. Pretty excited.
First tactical pause ever of group play. We introduced tactical pauses during the bracket stage last time. But I mean, even tactical pauses for something as simple as, let's assume that it will be map choice by Kongdu Panthera. We do assume that that will be the priority over either attacking or defending first. Attacking or defending can be a really interesting mind game of its own. So the full hold just coming through, which always, whatever the level of play, whether it's your own competitive games or at the professional scene, always leads to that bit of sullen expectation and self-discovery. Still time also, as you can see, for Kongdu Panthera and the Sailors to try to steady the ship.
His shirt says Monster, but that's another Kongdu team.
That's pretty cool co-branding right there, actually. A very subtle reference to
that's
Kongdu
for a different
Monster.
esport, but you know, good job promoting both sides of the coin. It all comes down to this now. As mentioned, we did see Route 66 and Dorado for Lunatic-Hai during that grand final. The 3-2 victory on Route 66 for Runaway, but they 3-0'd on Dorado.
Every time I see the Lunatic-Hai coach talking to Ryu Hong, I just assume he's telling him just sleep more, people, please.
Just hit the dart.
Hit the dart!
Don't even left click. Don't scope in. Do nothing but hit darts and throw grenades.
We all know that Jae-Hong only scopes for the start of the shot and then always drops it, stop the trail coming through. One of the first people to do that basically 100% of the time. Now a very standard mechanic, of course, in Overwatch.
It's also just better than straight up left clicking a lot of the time because you guarantee the 100%, going for the hit scan rather than the projectile. So that man certainly maintaining his status as one of the best Anas, if not the best Ana in the world. But there's been a couple up-and-comers that have been giving him a run for his money as of late.
Mango impressing us on Rhinos Gaming Wings in the promotion tournament, and even seeing Lucid on a new team, a new environment on Africa Freaks Blue. Definitely doesn't have the same name value and cachet as someone like Ryu Jae-Hong, but did feel like Arhan at times was really crying out for a top-level healer, and maybe Lucid will prove himself to be that. And of course, is more of a narrative for our second match, the tactical pause.
See, he wasn't going to the bathroom. He was just getting more hot six so you get re-energized.
You know, we don't actually get paid for shout-outs, right?
I know, we don't. But it's all right. Sometimes you just have to poke fun at it.
You realize that if your nickname was Sellout, your name would be Sellout King, right?
That's true.
He is Seth King, if you're wondering. Follow him on Twitter at Sellout King. That's not actually his Twitter, but get in there anyway.
All right, I'm going to have to change my handle then. I'm not verified yet.
It might be taken already.
It almost certainly is taken. Somebody took Achilles, feels bad, man.
Oh,
They've never tweeted.
Sad days for Achilles. Now, they've only ever played Dorado and Route 66 of the pure escort maps, so we'll wait and see what the selection is. It will be Dorado.
Okay. Well, again, we're expecting this to be the selection by Kongdu Panthera. So a bit of a bold one. Again, this is a 3-0 shutout map here for Lunatic-Hai during that grand final.
We'll see if Dorado will see some rogue-esque triple DPS openings or defenses from Lunatic-Hai. They've already shown us new stuff in multiple maps too. You would say mixed success, but they do not look at the same well-oiled machine, predictable team that we saw just a few weeks ago. Kongdu Panthera, we're still learning about them. We like what we've learned, but Lunatic-Hai picking up a win, not closing out the 3-0. You know the lingering doubt from Kongdu Panthera is now starting to get into the back of the mind.
Yep. Well, we'll see what they can piece together here. Decent map to open up with something like the Pharah for Rascal.
Sure.
See if he wants to pilot that one again. Had a very nice performance on Ilios and Lighthouse. Let's see if he brings that out here as we move on to Dorado. Again, match point for Kongdu Panthera. Lunatic-Hai finally picking up one on Volskaya. Can they start the reverse sweep? Let's find out. So we go to Dorado.
I get it.
Alrighty, here we go. The fan battle still going strong. Very much like these teams who score off yet again. Kongdu Panthera over on the defense. See here, maybe Birdring bringing out that Roadhog is very crucial for them. But getting those opening picks, buying a lot of time for Kongdu on Eichenwald.
Yeah, if you remember, it was the first pick, first kill of the game. You look at the kill field off screen, it was Birdring killing Jaehong Zenyatta, and you knew that was always going to be the longer first take. They ended up actually pushing Lunatic-Hai to overtime because they were never able to get the sort of eco push or ult economy you want in order to open up for a quick take. Yeah, the defense is the first thing we can analyze, given the attack can change to the last minute. Rascal jumping onto the Mei is something that we saw as a pretty big staple on Dorado defense in Season 1. Not as much of a factor in Season 2 now. Once again, reminding you guys, we're on the April 17th patch, so while we're not on the live patch, Mei's left click does slow, so the Mei bugs at least have been answered.
Yeah, got those taken care of.
The only hit scan available is that Mei. Pseudo hit scan, I guess, but regardless.
Yeah, with the right click. See how it fares, though. It hasn't been, a starting choice for a lot of teams, so it's impressive to see that this is going to be the desired pickup here for Rascal. He's already shown incredible proficiency in.
Well,
all right, there we go. I was gonna say incredible proficiency on the Tracer, but then he headshots one as Mei, so showing that off yet again here.
You need that advanced warning to be able to respect the 140 damage headshots. Didn't get it, and that's why the Tracer fell down very early. The first stall happens just before the archway. Jaehong building up ult. Transcendence usually needed to push pretty triumphantly through point A.
Yep, wall coming down, blocking off those orbs from Jaehong. Gonna buy quite a bit of time here for Kongdu, but they already lose Birdring, actually, as Eska goes in, takes him out. The trade backs coming through as Fisher just eliminates both the supports from the side of Lunatic-Hai. That's going to put a major halt to their push here. Who are you? Makes it out with his life. Eska, likely not to say the same, makes the dash around the corner. And will not fall, so he does hang on for a bit longer, but a nice hold here for Kongdu, and Rascal already has that Blizzard set.
Waka Waka did lose the D.Va mech suit, though, so is only just in mini D.Va form, and obviously Birdring takes a long time to amble back, so the tank line is a little bit less robust than you'd expect on the side of Kongdu Panthera.
He's trying to build up toward this one, but Jaehong, he gets isolated, the wall comes down, cutting him off from the rest of his team, and he gets taken out, the headshot guaranteed from the Icicle. They'll lock up Zumba as the Blizzard comes down. And that is just going to be yet another sweep through here from Kongdu. Here's Sleep Dart. Zumba in that baby D.Va form. Suck all on his lonesome. They'll kill him off. They'll get that staggered recall.
And we didn't even mention it due to the normalcy of Waka Waka being on something like the D.Va, but the flex is real in this game from Kongdu Panthera's. Void is on Lucio, and Waka Waka has actually flexed onto the D.Va.
Yeah, you can get rid of your Bible thumps now. You can Pog champ out for Waka Waka.
They probably have to win for them to actually do it again, though, Achilles. So a lot riding on Waka Waka this game.
That's very true. Well, who are you? Trying to flank around from the back. The Dragon Blade ready to go. Pulse Bomb thrown down by Eska. Will be body blocked by Fisher in the shield.
But support ultimates up for Kongdu Panthera. One used, just as we speak.
Sound barrier coming down, trying to keep them alive. That's a good Transcendence matched by Lunatic-Hai as they try to push forward. Who are you? Still has not drawn out the Dragon Blade for a kill onto Rascal, but he makes it into the ice block in time. Sword Orb comes down, now he's isolated, cutting himself off from his team with that ice wall. He'll get taken out. Who are you pushing forward? We'll take out Birdring. It's going to be a nice little opening here for Lunatic-Hai, who looked to get this first point.
And the Nano Hog actually used by Kongdu Panthera didn't really get them any value. Nothing on the kill score, only a bit of a delay, pushing people back into Rascal, who was on the front end of the fight, and thus getting little value out of two ultimates means that it should eventually be the second take as Fisher invests a lot.
Yeah, it throws down the Earth Shatter, but the bubble was there from Miro, blocking it all. The rest of them trying to delay will get taken out as they chase forward in. Get rid of Birdring.
And Fisher will change. So once again, it's been his trademark today, has been the crying ult into adjustment. You do want to have the Winston on this point to be able to contest high ground and low ground effectively, and also with the Primal Rage especially, lock up the cart for a while.
Yeah. By quite a bit of time. 3 minutes here on the clock for
Void's actually sticking on the Lucio. Interestingly, Waka Waka now onto Soldier. We're getting crazy in terms of all the capabilities here. Will it actually be effective is the question we kind of have to ask.
It's already starting to lose out on that exchange there, as you can see, but Birdring dashes in, takes out Jaehong off the backside of Toby going down. Waka Waka does get one onto Miro, so already making a pretty good argument for himself.
I mean, it's triple DPS, and all three of these DPS have shined as recently as Apex Season 2 in different games, so having access to 3 true DPS players that can flex between support and DPS is not actually a Sombra exclusive thing for Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, and Void, the new guy on the team, which is going to find himself at the Lucio.
Maybe he deserves the Bible thumbs.
Yeah, Bible thumbs out for him. but pog champs for Waka. Good job by him so far. Ryu still has his Dragon Blade. Didn't need to draw it in order to get that cap on point A. Pulse bomb comes down to Meska, not gonna find anybody. Just keep trying to push this up inch by inch. Dragon Blade finally coming down. Finds Luffy, one swipe, all that's needed with that Discord Orb. Takes out Rascal as well as Fisher. He leaps away, there we go. Shurikens will find him in the backside. Dash through onto Waka Waka, takes him out before he can get to the health pack. And who are you? This is the Genji that we remember from the grand final.
And the disadvantage of the triple DPS is if you open up with something like the Transcendence, there's pretty easy target selection. Everyone dies in a swing and a half coming through from Who Are You, because they don't necessarily have the same sustaining ults to get through or the health bars to get through. So when the ult economy is there for Lunatic-Hai, the results are pretty devastating.
Oh, Zuba almost goes down. Waka Waka can't quite finish him off. Bird Ring gets traded back, but a big pulse bomb takes out both the supports here as Rascal makes his way into the back lines. Beautiful opening up here for Kongdu Panthera as they try to maintain the hold in front of point B. Transcendence comes out from Luffy, keeps them healthy, and Lunatic-Hai looking like they're just going to have to concede this one. Concede the push for now.
Big investment, though, using the Transcendence after a double kill. Should have quelled most of the expectations of Lunatic-Hai actually be able to close up. So no support ultimates and double DPS ults on the side of Kongdu Panthera, complemented by the Primal Rage. Big question here is what value they get out of the Soldier ult in particular, I'd say, as obviously it will be Eska's job to try and harass the Soldier away from the high ground advantage.
Right now, Rascal doing a good job just poking him from that side flank. Zuba comes in, has the attack visor down, gets Void off the bat. It's gonna be a nice start. Discord Orb in onto the Winston. They try to take him out so far, still is alive, but Fisher barely makes it out. Goes down in the end. Waka Waka trading back a little bit, but gets taken out by Who Are You as Lunatic-Hai keep pushing in. This will be the completion of point B. As long as they can get rid of that Lucio. There we go. They get rid of Void, take him out. A minute and 50 seconds on the clock as they try to get to C. We know how dangerous this last choke can be as they try to round the corner.
You can tell that Kongdu Panthera are practiced on triple DPS against dive, but against the dive of the best dive team in the world, they are starting to be a bit shaky. They were disconnected with their ultimates. Waka Waka's Soldier ultimate basically got nothing on the back end after the fight was decided by Zunbaz. So once again, the swaps will come through. Waka Waka back on the Diva. Minute 20, so not that many pushes available here for Lunatic-Hai, but they already have Dragon Blade back up.
So try to push this forward. See the Transcendence coming in as they try to stay alive. Bird Ring gets taken out midair by Who Are You, dashing his way through. Now has the Dragon Blade up, gets rid of Void, looking for more. Has to respect the damage output of the Ana though. Dashes away from Luffy, keeps himself safe, but Lunatic-Hai coming up with multiple kills in this push. Should be able to round this second to last corner.
Rascal basically gives up his life to try and halt the cart and allow them to actually have a proper formation for defense for the final push. 45 seconds left on the clock. A lot of ults available for Lunatic-Hai. Bird Ring. Haven't been impressed with the ult economy so far from Kongdu Panthera on the defense. Going to be after one hell of a Dragon Blade.
Yep, you can see the sound barrier coming through from both sides, but so far it's going to be Lunatic-Hai suffering the losses as Bird Ring goes through with the Dragon Blade, finds two. Can he get three? Looking for the enemy Genji. Who Are You low? A couple hits will take him out, and he finds it with the melee. That's the team kill with just 20 seconds remaining. Lunatic-Hai have to pile back in to contest this payload.
Everything used on the side of Kongdu Panthera. Waka Waka once again swaps back onto the Diva. Primal Rage will buy a lot of time, and now it's kind of a tracking war between the two sets of DPS on the side of Kongdu Panthera and Lunatic-Hai. Inching towards the Pulse Bomb is Eska. This needs to be one of the good Pulse Bombs from Eska, not one of the ones that misses.
See if he can land it. Has the Pulse Bomb ready to go. Goes in, gets Waka Waka in the mech suit. They will be able to pop this one as Fisher goes down. Wasn't able to use the Primal Rage. And such crucial openings now available for Lunatic-Hai as they just sweep through Kongdu Panthera one after the other. Bird Ring, the only one left alive, but can't get there. He gets taken out. The completion coming through in overtime for Lunatic-Hai.
Tracking battle was won by Lunatic-Hai on their comfort. Managed to do it. Fisher getting the ultimate just as he died, wasn't able to pop it and buy the extra time for the respawn. So very late capture, but still a full completion for Lunatic-Hai. And even though they picked up Volskaya in overtime, they still were able to pull off the full hold. So they still will feel confident. Starting to slip away from Kongdu Panthera. The lingering doubt is starting to become louder and louder in the back of their mind. Liked the May opening, it worked until Lunatic-Hai kind of got their bearings around. And now they need to go for the full push with a good time bank as well.
See if they're able to do it. Lunatic-Hai swapping over to the defense. We'll see what they want to bring forward, but the last couple maps have been indicative of anything. I think it's going to be pretty much the same composition again.
Triple DPS was only in Ilios Ruins. Decision, I guess, is got to say both teams' triple DPS so far has been a bit of a swing and a miss, rather than necessarily registering in the same way some of our foreign teams have been able to show, and specifically Rogue have been able to show in the past. I know that triple DPS against True Dive is one of the really fun mini storylines we have here in Apex Season 3, given that the Western meta has kind of developed in isolation of the Apex meta. Defense, like you say, pretty standard from the side of Lunatic-Hai. Pretty much when you talk about the most played for most of these, save maybe the Zarya for Zunba as one of his more famous picks, it's all pretty academic for Lunatic-Hai.
Yep. Jaehong not going to be seeing that. Zenyatta coming out will just be the Ana. Tried and true.
Waka Waka back on Lucio duty. It's been relegated. Or promoted, depending
Well,
on who you
what?
are.
That didn't work out, so you're back on Lucio. Void coming through with the Diva. Birdring looking for an opening shot here. This Widowmaker, but Lunatic-Hai are playing far enough forward. Does he want to push out of the point? That's going to be the question. Trying to get these snipes in onto Eska. He hears that rifle go off. He tries to get out of dodge. Ryu makes the escape, despite the Discord orb being on, but Miro cannot say the same. He gets taken out. Now looks like the mech from Zumba will get popped. Tries to buy a bit of time here, but might be enough for Kongdu Panthera perhaps to get this payload wrapped around under the overpass.
Both healers down for the side of Kongdu Panthera. Those that need to group with their healers, otherwise you expect them to be picked off as they spawn by Lunatic-Hai. Birdring had another salvo, and we'll just be returning to the Genji. It's in both Birdring and Rascal on Genji duty today, so it feels like the champion pool or hero pool overlap is still there.
Really poor pulse bomb thrown out there by Rascal. Thought he was going to be able to get the stick on the Miro, but he's jumping up onto the high ground, so it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, Dragon Blade drawn out by Who Are You? Finds Birdring already, but gets taken out by Rascal before he can find another target. Straight back still coming in favor of Lunatic-Hai to get rid of Fisher and Waka Waka. Rascal trying to dash his way out to safety. Makes it back into that spawn just in time, but really strong and forward position by Lunatic-Hai is paying off.
Yeah, ever since they picked off both supports and basically forced a disconnected entrance back to the cart. So far, they've been able to spawn camp effectively, have Lunatic-Hai.
Hear that nano boost coming through, believe it's in onto Miro. Pops that primal rage, keeping himself very far forward on top of the payload, trying to knock back Kongdu where he can. They already find an opening onto Luffy, so getting rid of the Zenyatta, very crucial pickoff. Birdring can see he has to retreat back into the spawn yet again as he gets taken low. Jaehong does fall. Void not going to get much with that self-destruct, comes back into the mech, just trying to keep this payload contested, but already the clock being run down below 2 minutes by Lunatic-Hai on the defense.
Looks like Kongdu Panthera need a McCree at some point to help escort these supports onto the cart. Finally, they're getting them there, but it took so much of their timer already.
Yeah, they peel back. You can see Lunatic-Hai go ahead, but they still have 1 minute and 50 seconds to contest this one if they so please.
Maybe draw an over-investment from Kongdu Panthera, even if they're to take it. Luffy's Transcendences haven't been impressive so far in this game.
Well, they are going to contest this. Miro comes jumping in. The Transcendence coming down from Luffy, just trying to keep the team healthy, trying to keep that payload moving. Just 2 meters away from getting the capture. Lunatic-Hai just want to pile in, buy as much time as they possibly can, but you can see that Dragon Blade from Birdring getting some work done, coming up with the double kills. He takes out Eska and Jaehong, a triple with Zumba, and Who Are You is going to be the sole remaining member of his team able to retreat out to safety.
Look, you never say no to a 3K, but the timing makes it suspect. You use it right as you're piling onto the point. They actually capture the point mid-Dragon Blade, and now it's a tool that is not available to allow them to contest the high ground when they get onto this phase, the Streets phase of Dorado. So while it looked good, while it certainly allowed them to pick up point A, it is now a tool not available. No DPS ult for Kongdu Panthera.
You can see Lunatic-Hai still fearlessly charging in, just jumping in off that high ground, trying to take out Kongdu where they can. Come up with 2 picks here as Birdring goes down. Fisher will trade back onto Who Are You? 3 dead. Jaehong gets popped as Rascal goes forward. Has that heal deny, but he's not being targeted by anybody, so he's free to just fire off with these Tracer pistols. Coming up with a kill onto Zumba. The payload will keep on moving.
Yeah, Lunatic-Hai felt really empowered to dive because the only really ult they had to respect was the Genji ult that they knew was down. So they were free to dive. They knew there wouldn't be a turnaround. Good tracking from Rascal, as we saw from his perspective. Means they pushed the cart towards the entrance to point C. Now we see the contest once again as Rascal.
Finds
Eska.
Eska. Makes it in, gets that health pack coming through. We just have the Tracer battle, but in the meantime, who are you? Going forward with the Dragon Blade, trying to get these picks. Won't be able to get much. Takes out Luffy, but has to back away because of the self-destruct. And Fisher just leaps in and stomps out Jaehong, taking him out.
Flash takes out Waka Waka with the self-destruct though, so won't have the Lucio healing on the cart.
Yeah, they're trying to stick in here, but Fisher gets taken out, so the cart not going to move much further, but they got it through the underpass. Just need to close that final bit of distance here for Home New Panthera.
We've seen Lunatic-Hai do cruel things to mini divas before.
That was pretty merciful, I think, by comparison.
To Anna's as well, as we'll remember. Cox Bible thump from that particular final. But now the approach gets a little bit curious. It's actually very difficult to approach when you're looking at taking the cart over the final meterage. So Rascal for now, trying to get advanced information, help the setup, help the formation for the side of Kongdu Panthera. Ring has farmed up. Finds Lucio in the backline. Dies actually mid-sound barrier.
Yeah, not going to be able to get that one off, but they get rid of Jaehong as well with a pulse bomb. Straight into a kill onto Miro. Eska takes out Fisher, but Lunatic-Hai suffering massive losses.
And they don't need to use any more tools either. Getting the sound barrier done meant that all the ult timings need to be that much quicker because you don't have the extra effective health. They push through. Bit of ult charge for Jaehong with a biotic grenade, but he backs away. Suddenly, ult advantage, 2 minutes 20 to push the cart. We could be seeing some overtime pushes if they can complete the map here. Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, we really could. Still not much time on the clock. Few ultimates to work with. Building up towards another sound barrier there is Waka Waka. Jaehong sniping away from the high ground. Does get a kill in onto the enemy Lucio. Takes him out. Sound barrier will keep the majority of Lunatic-Hai alive. Bird Ring gets popped by that self-destruct, and this is just good time-saving tactics here by Lunatic-Hai.
Yeah, the defensive one by Kongdu Panthera didn't get much either as Jaehong just free hitting. We all know about the aggressive Ana play that he's so famous for. They're able to push up their defense, means that Kongdu Panthera will have to come through a pretty narrow choke unless they take the stairs approach to this particular payload. Eska's definitely expecting that. This is the sort of territory where Pulse Bomb can get a swift 3K.
Well, you can see, trying to find Rascal, but Rascal's already gotten Jaehong. Takes him out with the Pulse Bomb. Decent investment here, and Eska has to get the recall out. Keep himself alive. Meanwhile, Zumba gets popped. Toby going low. Keeping himself alive for the moment, but will get popped in the end by Bird Ring.
Miro could have used the ultimate to contest, but smarter to hold on to it for a final contest. Some good ults left for Lunatic-Hai, but pretty much matched on the side of Kongdu Panthera.
Still have to bring that payload around the final corner. It's a minute on the clock for Kongdu. Need to complete this as best as they can. Who are you going in with the Dragon Blade? Finds Luffy immediately. Yet again, has always been his target, but Bird Ring takes him out with a dash. Dragon Blade of his own getting a bit of work done. The three members on the side of Lunatic-Hai are dead. The run back's coming through now from Panthera as they keep trying to get this payload moving. Tension coming through from Miro, just trying to buy as much time for his team as he possibly can. But he's going low, might get taken out. Here in the end, that's the Primal Rage coming out from Fisher, just smacking around the enemy Winston, trying to get the kill, but he's able to retreat to safety. Lunatic-Hai now all members alive, push back in the payload, just a couple meters away. This time the sound barrier gets off.
Barrier.
Yeah, Toby almost goes down, but stays alive at least for the moment. They get a pick in onto Fisher. Taking front line here for Kongdu Panthera, have to rely on the Transcendence to come through. Self-destruct's tossed out by both these divas, not going to find much. Void doesn't get a pop, goes back in, trying to buy more time, trying to keep their hopes alive. 5 seconds on the clock as we get ready to enter overtime. Miro goes down, Sleep Dart in onto Void. No one there really to pop the mech, however. They're just going to leave him be. But now, all on its lonesome, trying to buy as much time as he can. It just doesn't seem like he can get it done.
Yeah, Waka Waka died with ult just as he came through. Doesn't matter about Rascal's ult. It's going to be potential for that reverse sweep, Achilles, although we're still waiting for the last bit of bookkeeping. It's done.
There it is.
And Lunatic-Hai, you can hear it from the fans' voices. Feels like that finals feeling is coming back today.
It really is. The reverse sweep hope still alive for Lunatic-Hai and their fans. 2 maps in a row now, Volskaya, then Dorado. It all comes down to one final hybrid map.
Feels like every time The Dragon Blade was used by Huryu. The Transcendence was not available for Luffy, and that was a great communication on the side of Lunatic-Hai to really get in there before they expected there to be something like Transcendence. Answers to the cleanup coming through from Huryu and Fisher dying, and 5v6 is a big ask with those respawns being so close. So we're going back to Hybrid. First Hybrid map was, of course, won by Kongdu Panthera on Eichenwald. All 3 other maps will be available. So Kings Row, Hollywood, and Numbani will be the decision posed to Kongdu Panthera.
See what they land on. So close to closing this out with a 3-0, and now the reverse sweep in the eyes of Lunatic-Hai. The pressure on these players on your screen has to be immense.
That's why you hear the music. Expected that to be a tactical pause, given that no substitutions are available for the side of Kongdu Panthera. They'll just come back into the booth. Big decision to be made. And we saw a similar tactical pause right at the end by Runaway when they selected Eichenwald for the final map. That was Hybrid on that day. It's Hybrid again, but Eichenwald is not a selection available, given that we played it earlier.
3 minutes here for Kongdu Panthera, but is it going to be enough time? The mental taxing that has to come through from, you know, a reverse sweep right on their doorstep. It's got to be immense.
And what do you chance? Because, you know, you don't want to go Kings Row most likely against Lunatic-Hai, who have an insane win rate on Kings Row, 4-0. They're most selected over the course of Apex Season 2. It's always been a great map for them. Eichenwald not available. Start looking at percentages, you know, something like Hollywood in terms of Season 2 was never selected by Kongdu Panthera. That only leaves Numbani, which can certainly be a double-edged sword, even for Kongdu Panthera, who 1 and 2 on that map. So I don't think they really have, at least based on historic trends, an obvious selection. Now, we came into the Apex Season 2 final talking about how the map pool actually did benefit Runaway, because some of the best maps like Kings Row was not available for Lunatic-Hai to select on the day. We don't have those sort of variables anymore with the full map pool always being available. So I'm actually really interested to see where Kongdu Panthera think they're strongest, or even where they think that Lunatic-Hai is weakest in terms of Hybrid.
I mean, it's such a hard thing to suss out here if you're Kongdu Panthera. The toughest decision that they're going to have to make in quite some time. But now just a minute left on the clock as they try to work out what the strategy is going to be. Like you said, Numbani, maybe a bit of a wild card map that they could toss out there, but it seems like such a 50-50 risk if they want to take it. Lunatic-Hai, you know, maybe seeming like they're a bit asleep in those first couple maps, now completely woken up.
1-on-1 on both the maps is Lunatic-Hai, on both Hollywood and Numbani, so even the statistics don't really bore out an obvious choice. It would be such a risk to go to somewhere like Kings Row, even though obviously that is seen as one of the most competitive and balanced maps of any type in Overwatch. Still questions to be asked of the coaching staff, which we're still starting to evaluate, you know, the strength of coaching staff. It feels like we've been still focused on individual player strength and increasingly team strength and compositional changes in Overwatch, but we still don't know who the best coaches in Overwatch are, as the Korean coaches have already started visiting North America. Bishop, for example, over at Cloud9.
Yeah.
This is where you earn your money. During the tactical pause, rallying the troops, you need every part of a coach. Knowledge, also the ability to inspire, because you have to feel that Kongdu Panthera need a pick-me-up. They are at risk of the reverse sweep after looking so great before our first break.
Yep. There you go, tactical pause over. Time to determine what will be our final battleground for our first match of the day. Selection over Kongdu Panthera. We'll see. I mean, we expect them heavily to go for map rather than side selection.
Hollywood on Numbani. Expected Kings Row would be a surprise, and Eichenwald not available from the hybrid pool.
So plenty to choose from here. So go ahead, get that ARG up on your screen and figure out what it's going to be.
Oh, baby.
Row. All right. Well,
going to Kings Row against Lunatic-Hai. There was, of course, Rascal's famous offensive Sombra performance on Kings Row, but this is also the playground of Lunatic-Hai. We talked about it being a statement game for Kongdu Panthera, whatever the result it is, but this would be the cherry on top if they were able to take out Lunatic-Hai on Eichenwald. Oh, sorry, on Kings Row.
Yeah, I mean, I called Numbani a bit of a 50-50, but you saw right there, assault and defense, 52% for attacker first, 48 for defense first, so insanely close on both sides. Really is kind of earning that title as one of the most balanced hybrid maps
Exactly,
in the game.
and balanced maps. People have their things to say about Volskaya, Hanamura, a lot of the maps in Overwatch, Gibraltar as well. I think we can all pretty much say Kings Row is usually a great viewing experience, and this one will take the cake. First match of the season goes to 5 games. Lunatic-Hai wanting to start the season, do their fans proud, and Kongdu Panthera already a surprise packet. But doing it on Kings Row would be some sort of story for Kongdu Panthera.
Yeah, big target on your backs when you're the defending champions there for Lunatic-Hai, so that much more to prove. A win here for Kongdu Panthera would just really slingshot the start of their season. Let's see if they can close it out or if Lunatic-Hai will complete the reverse sweep as we go to our final map of this first match of the day. We're going all the way to Kings Row.
I get it.
Lunatic, the keyword.
What a premonition they had when they were naming their team.
Yeah.
Even they could not have expected this. You know, they came through, a lot of them with quite an accomplished FPS background, like Jae-Hong in particular in other games. And Lunatic-Hai's name is not original to Overwatch. It has existed before, but it now is seminal and associated with competitive Overwatch around the world, not just in Korea, as the global numbers will show you today. People look to this team to be one of the best. They would have been surprised with game 1 and 2 as Luffy salutes Lunatic-Hai. He's hoping it's going to be a salute of victory in 10, 15, 20 minutes time, and not a salute to the champions opening up their season with a win. Looking at the defense on the side of Kongdu Panthera, defensive dive comp from them, so is something different. Rascal will be on the Soldier to give them some semblance of hit scan, but a lot of options for Kongdu Panthera. Whereas Lunatic-Hai, you already know what they're running.
Yep. No real
DPS.
surprises here.
Back to it again.
Yeah. Zimba coming forward on this Soldier.
Lost Zarya, can't find it on the hero selection anymore.
He gets a couple hits in, the Helix rockets won't connect, but wrap around onto the high ground, that right flank for Lunatic-Hai. As they start looking to push their way onto the point.
No contesting onto Zunbo's basically free hitting here of the sort of defensive plays that we've seen great Soldier players do before. It's
Burger
1 for
take it
1 to
out.
start it.
Yeah, Waka Waka gets the kill in onto Eska, but who are you dashing through, looking to build up for that Dragon Blade? Going low, but staying alive, and now
Zumba's
looking to
still
pop the
free
back.
hitting. Remember, one person that could contest him is down on the side of Kongdu Panthera. It was only the Winston that could get up there and try and slow down the Soldier.
See, though, Pop comes through on the Void. Miro dashes forward, trying to get the kill on the Rascal, but the Helix rockets take him out with the help of that nano boost. And it seems like Kongdu might just be able to hold on to this point. No ticks coming through here for Lunatic-Hai.
Was it the Soldier's main day right there, as both of them free hitting. Rascal will get away. Just had the nano boost and trusted on the tracking of Rascal.
Second away there, getting rid of Jae-Hong. One more bullet would have found him, and Eska, he was low right off the bat, has to pop that recall.
Let's recall through the Helix rocket though, so it's that from coming through. Already hear the pop here. Rascal looking for a shooting gallery. Nothing found so far.
Yeah, trying to wrap around the backside of the fountain. Will get a bit of an angle, but goes low, has to sprint his way back in, and he finds Eska inside of the hotel room, and he gets taken out.
Big mistake from Rascal, going too aggressively, fishing for value from his ultimate. We'll see if Lunatic-Hai can punish it. Looking like the yes.
Oh, Eska very deep into enemy territory, dashing through. There's nobody capping the point right now, but the kills are still coming out in favor of Lunatic-Hai as they finally push back in and look to get that meter rolling in their favor. 2 minutes on the clock, and this might just be the cap right here.
Yeah, big individual mistake from Rascal. A lot invested from him on the first push. With the nano boost just to keep the point, was able to do that, but got far too greedy pushing up. We mentioned how high he is on the ladder, sort of play he would definitely make on ladder, but sort of play that was very well sussed out by Lunatic-Hai, showing great respect to Rascal pushing up, taking him out first, allowing them to capture point A on Kings Row.
Oh, this is where it all begins with the streets phase, making it to point B. with ample time in the bank is going to be very crucial here for both of these teams as we progress through the map. Now Kongju Panthera, multiple ultimates to try to hold during the Streets phase, but could just be matched out by Lunatic-Hai. Pulse Bomb coming down from Eska, not going to find any target. He's kept alive by the Transcendence as all of Kongju Panthera starts pushing very far forward. Sound Barrier comes down in time to keep Waka Waka alive as Who Are You has that Dragon Blade. He's able to dash through and gets rid of Void. It was G-Mech. He's going to take it out, and Zupa now pushing forward. Attack Visor's ready to go for him, and he's going to go ahead and pop this one. Finds Fisher, who's all on his lonesome. Pops the Primal Rage. Then Heal Deny comes through, tries to get a shot in onto Waka Waka, won't be able to do so. And you can see here, Fisher trying to get the answering kill, does take out the Soldier. The pace for that one with his life.
Yeah, Who Are You invested his ultimate to get rid of the sound barrier. The fight is actually continuing here because it's so pushed up by Kongju Panthera.
Yeah, Rascal doesn't get much with Attack Visor, but does take out Eska in the end, but Miro trades it back. So just 1-for-1s across the board. The payload not really moving in favor of Lunatic-Hai.
But the moment it goes from a 1-for-1 to a 2-for-1, when you're that far pushed up, you know that the push is going to be pretty significant for the side of Lunatic-Hai, as the run back for Kongju Panthera is considerable. Going 1-for-1 in that scenario is never great. We know that feeling when you're trying to attack second point of an assault map. Feel a bit like that, so once again, Rascal pushing up a bit aggressively. Now we're already rounding the bend towards the end of the Streets phase.
Zumba has a really good side angle, just firing off, trying to build up for that Attack Visor. Pulse Bomb from Eska, not going to find a stick, doesn't get any kills. J-Hong in the backside, has to pop the Transcendence, forced out by Birdering, but he gets taken out, and still it's just going to be multiple kills coming through for Lunatic-Hai onto Kongju. The team wipe about to happen as Fisher gets taken down by Who Are You, the Dragon Blade. And that will be the completion of point B, 2 minutes on the clock. Now going to get bumped up to 3.5.
It's a wave of a momentum as well because they overstayed pushing up at the first point. They were never really in position to get a contest, and even the last second contest, it's basically formulaic. You plug it into the storyline and narrative of every King's Row map, the contest just before the capture. Did never happen, and the ults were up for Kongju Panthera, and they still see the swatch over. We see Birdering over onto the McCree, because they needed a new comp to try and answer Lunatic-Hai.
Eska finds his way into the back of them, just firing off where he can. And Rascal now over onto that Zarya, going to be looking for a massive Graviton Surge. Attack Visor comes through from Zumba up on the high ground. He'll be able to get that mech pop, and honestly forces out the self-destruct, but it's not really at an angle to get anybody else, so going to be effectively wasted. As Void just goes back into the back.
Both DPS is down on the side of Kongju Panthera.
Rascal still trying to build up, trying to get into that Graviton Surge, but his teammates just getting picked off one at a time, causing them to have to play this far back.
Both DPS is down, then the tank line goes down, trickling in a Kongju Panthera.
Eska, can he find the massive Pulse Bomb? To get the completion coming through, that's going to be the Transcendence. Pulse Bomb down onto Fisher, he gets taken out. 2 picks already here for Lunatic-Hai, as they're just a couple meters away from completing this push. 1 second of being uncontested, and this is going to go forward. Void gets bumped off. They're on top of it, it moves in, and that's going to be the complete 2 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock for Lunatic-Hai, setting a very high bar for Kongju Panthera to try to match.
And all class from Lunatic-Hai on King's Row, expected for them. 4-0 last season, always been one of their best maps in competitive play. And on the side of Kongju Panthera, you can't say the same thing. They showed their individual class at different points in their first 2 maps. But here, it was more individual plays attempted but repelled by a rampaging Lunatic-Hai. Great time from them with 2 minutes 14 in the time bank. And suddenly, full spotlight on Kongju Panthera, whose benefits from their roster changes have been laid bare. But unfortunately now, some of the deficiencies, some of the things that need to be laid attention to are laid bare as well.
Yeah. So the complete push has to come through here for Kongju Panthera in order to win this map, win this first match of Apex Season 3, and take down the reigning champions, Lunatic-Hai. 2 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. Decently impressive time bank there, especially compared to what we saw from the promotion tournament, because a lot of teams were barely making it all the way through the Foundry.
And here's what I'll say about Lunatic-Hai. It's the second time, obviously, in recent history we've seen them, 2 matches in a row come back from a big disadvantage, and now, of course, in the driver's seat, you'd have to say, to take down this game.
Sure.
A lot of teams can shot call from ahead, in any esport, in any real sport. When you're winning, whether it's a couple of rounds, whether it's a win streak, it papers over the cracks, it papers over the deficiencies, because everyone's just happy to be winning. One thing, again, that I will compliment Lunatic-Hai on is that you can see that their shot calling from behind is a level above some of these, many of these other younger squads. Even though they have that big range of ages on the side of Lunatic-Hai, they are so good at basically rallying their troops, getting things together, and now they're taking a gamble on defense as well. It's triple DPS on defense from them, as a lot of targets for Birdring to potentially pick off, but none of them poking out.
Yeah, playing back around the corner here behind the Alderworth. As Birdring will poke forward, looking for those headshots. Can't really find anybody yet. Misses that shot onto Eska. Did a very nice pick off, deny a lot of meter build up, or ulti build up from him.
Really curious, actually, here, Luffy, without it being a pharmacy, is running this Mercy.
Yeah.
Who will he be pocketing? At the start, of course, it was the damage amp onto the Widowmaker, but after that...
Miro, big misfire there.
Double.
Honestly, can't make it onto the high ground, gets taken out, and then, yeah, the double kill comes through for Birdring as he snipes out Toby. Jae-Hong is dead as well. No supports available now for Lunatic-Hai. Birdring gets stopped mid-grapple. Find that shot in onto Eska. He's got the Discord Orb, won't be able to find it yet. He's got some backup here from Rascal. They'll fire away, they get rid of the Tracer. That's going to be a very swift cap of point A for Kongdu Panthera. 5.5 minutes on the clock.
And we got to answer, he was pocketing the Widowmaker. A wet dream of any Widowmaker in competitive play is getting pocketed by a Mercy. The trust is there. I know you're a Widowmaker
my
main.
solo queue dreams.
Don't go into solo queue and pocket a Widowmaker today, guys. That's not a good way to get your rating up, but it was a good way for them to get a first point push, and suddenly Lunatic-Hai is going to be scratching their heads because they did not see that one coming.
You might not get rating, but you'll make that Widowmaker stay.
Isn't that what Overwatch is all about, Helios?
Yeah, it's not about winning, it's about making others happy. See though, who are you diving very aggressively into the back, trying to get a kill in onto Birdring, cannot find it, but Eska and Zumba doing some work to get rid of Waka Waka and Fisher.
The res has already been used by Kongdu Panthera, so don't have that tool either.
Primal Rage getting popped by Miro as they keep trying to contest this. Fisher trying to exit as best as he can. Looks like he makes it out to safety. Waka Waka can't say the same though. Way too far forward as Alone Zenyatta will go down, and they get Fisher in the end as Jae-Hong snipes him out.
What was a really nice opening with this Widowmaker Mercy comp. Time to change on the Streets phase. These sort of picks aren't actually set up to help through the Streets phase. I think they really do need an adjustment. That's why you'll see Birdring move over Genji, of course. A much more practiced one, and Rascal jumping onto the Farah. It looks really good from him on Ilios. They needed to change, it's come in, but they really don't have a lot of time bank to work with, even though 4 minutes is pretty generous for the Streets phase.
Insanely generous, but still have to get around those last couple corners here. Already an opening kill in onto Eskas. He's just wailing away from the skies. Who are you dashing forward, looking for an execute? Cannot find it. Dashes back into the sky, but still does not take out Luffy. He stays alive, stays floating safely. And now who are you? Being pursued in by Birdring. Sound barrier comes down, keeps him alive, at least for the moment.
Lucia on the side of Kongdu Panthera, so no counter sound barrier available.
Birdring goes low. Shurikens to the back is does take him out. Let's build up here.
It's available.
Where are you? The hold will maintain from Lunatic-Hai.
Luffy goes down without rezzing. The positioning wasn't great, so Rez will probably just spin another 2 kills and extra ult over to the side of Lunatic-Hai, so don't mind him holding on to the Rez in that spot. The reason why
things to work with here.
And the reason why we talked about 4 minutes being a limited time bank is that, of course, it's all about trying to match the time bank posted. 2 minutes 14 on completion for Lunatic-Hai. Definitely need to be around that mark as Kongdu Panthera for a realistic hope to win this match.
One final corner to go. One ultimate available. The barrage nearly there for Rascal. The rest is very far off here for Kongdu Panthera. Eska with a really nice flanking position. Toss out the pulse bomb, but will not get the stick, so can't get the execute on the Fisher.
Luffy's
but
first to
that
die.
is going to be Miro taking out Luffy, and Rascal mid-barrage gets just taken out by Who Are You with the deflection coming in. And Lunatic-Hai starting to sweep up Kongdu Panthera. They have to retreat yet again. It's 2.5 minutes on the clock. We might just see the hold here in front of point B.
Certainly the extended hold, the actual hold before it pushes on to the final point. That part is still to be determined. Lunatic-Hai had so many tools to deal with basically every facet of Kongdu Panthera's comp. They control the air, although nice snipe onto Zunba this time, actually.
Can he get the next one? Looking for Toby, takes him low, but he makes it inside. Stays alive at least for the moment. Now Rascal in a bad spot. The E to bounce himself away from that barrier, but he gets taken out. Right there, Who Are You? Coming up with a double kill, gets rid of the pharmacy single-handedly with that Dragon Blade. And it's just looking worse and worse as time goes on for Kongdu.
Who are you? Enters the pharmacy. There is no counter. Gets both of them and pushes up. And he's been the one anointed to take out the pharmacy, even on the Genji, doing it adeptly. They don't need any McCrees. We're going to see a replay. Target selection perfect. Luffy has been the first to die 2 fights in a row, sitting on that ultimate, never being able to use it. And Rascal, another new pick for them today. It is, of course, the Reaper. Don't even have a farmed Nano Boost trying to take him out. Speaking of Nano Boost, Luffy being harassed in the back line.
Swapping over to the Ana. Eska goes low, gets recall off at 7 HP, stays alive. The sound barrier now there, but will be matched by Kongdu. Self-destruct's coming out. Void looking for a pick, won't find anything, but the Dragon Blade from Bird Ring takes out Zumba, and he will be able to get Jaehong at the end. So 3 picks open up for Kongdu. Panthera can finally get that payload moving yet again as they round that final corner. Toby dead. This might just be the concede here by Lunatic-Hai. 50 seconds on the clock, so not a lot to work with.
And Mira's not in position for the last second contest, so surprisingly we go a King's Row map, but no one contesting right at the end of point B.
But they're guaranteed less time than Lunatic-Hai, so the time bank will be in their favor. Rascal gonna go ahead and swap off, looking for that Zarya yet again. Wasn't able to get the Graviton Surge when they were on defense. Starts things off a bit earlier this time around. Miro jumping in very aggressively. The Transcendence coming through to match as Lunatic-Hai just tries to push them back outside the boundary. Who are you? Finds Waka Waka, takes him out, and Rascal goes down. Luffy following up. Both supports getting assassinated, and Lunatic-Hai put on a clinic here and just absolutely execute Kongdu Panthera.
I just love how ordered their play is. You see Jaehong pop the Transcendence as Who Are You is at 70% ult charge. Knows he'll farm it up, actually farmed up 20% instantly with a triple proc on his alternate fire. Now he has his ultimate available, so a single ultimate invested to be able to repel both the push and get Who Are You in the driver's seat to take over this game. But now just poking around. Only one serious push left, and he wants to be ended himself right here.
Yeah, Dragon Blade coming out, but the sound barriers there from Kongdu Panthera. Pulse Bomb will find Luffy. Looking for the pop onto Void. They get him out of the mech, they take him out. The melee swing, finding the kill for Who Are You, and yet again, Kongdu Panthera swept under the rug. And they will have effectively one more push with 2 ultimates.
Yeah, certainly no wealth of ultimates for the side of Kongdu Panthera. They do actually have a pretty fast Graviton Surge, it's worth noting. Zarya was able to, on the backside of his teammates down, farm up that ult. It's going to have to be a game-changer one. It'll be our first Graviton Surge of the game, of the match, actually.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in any of our other matches. Zunba has not been on Zarya for a single moment.
Needs to find the $1 million Graviton Surge here, pushing forward. As the barrier's down, tosses it out, only draws in a couple members. Birdring draws out that Dragon Blade. Won't be able to find much, and the self-destruct just zones Kongdu Panthera back off of the payload yet again. It's less than 10 seconds, and Fisher has died. Birdring only getting rid of Eska. Now, Who Are You? Drawing up his Dragon Blade down to 70 HP. Looking for the pop on the mech suit yet again. Will find Void. Can't take him out. Miro's able to do so, but he does die.
Cleanup's on, though.
Got Miro pushing back in. Primal Rage ready to go. Could just go ahead and shove them off this point. See, showing some restraint. Doesn't want to pop it yet. There we go. Pops it as soon as that Nano Boost comes through. And he's just going to be smacking them away, trying to get them off the map. But either way, getting him off the payload is going to be more than enough for him. Will get charged on, but still very healthy on this Winston as Fisher tries to push back in, tries to get to the payload that is still in contention by a couple members on his team.
Will be escorted as Luffy shows up.
Oh,
big!
massive Earth Shatter locks up 4. They find the kills coming through. Could that be the turnaround for Kongdu Panthera? The team wipe nearly happening to get rid of Eska. They'll round the corner, but they cannot leave this payload. They still have a ways to go. They could complete this in overtime. Respawns coming out from Lunatic-Hai, however. Miro will look for him to jump in. Jaehong nearly having the Transcendence. Miro comes forward, 23% of the Primal Rage. See how quickly he can stack this up. The self-destruct comes out, finds Who Are You? A crucial pickup here for Kongdu Panthera as they try to hold on to this Transcendence. Out by Jaehong, buying more and more time. But Panthera still hold firm on top of the point.
Double boop!
Not gonna find anything. The boop from Toby taking out Fisher. They find Rascal, the tank line being shattered on the side of Kongdu Panthera. Birdring has a pulse pump, needs to find a target, tosses it out, won't get a damn thing as he just tries to buy time but has to stay on the payload. He's all by himself. The clock ticking down. Waka Waka executed as he enters, and Lunatic-Hai will complete the reverse sweep. It looks so good for Kongdu Panthera at the start of this series, but it all slips right out of their fingers.
First match day, first reverse sweep. Lunatic-Hai, our reigning champions, do it again. Really exciting end to the map. Kongdu Panthera will still be proud of what they accomplished. Even if they couldn't quite get over the line, they showed that there's certainly potential in this lineup. But these are the champions for a reason. If you would bet on any team to reverse sweep in the world, it would be Lunatic-Hai, and it wouldn't be the first day without some drama, and plenty provided by the charges of both teams.
Absolutely stunning performance from Lunatic-Hai, and you have to say from Kongdu Panthera, really giving them a run for their money, taking them all the way to 5 games.
I mean, we came up saying, what are our expectations for Kongdu Panthera? Are they realistically going to win? We very quickly found out the answer to that question was potentially yes, after going up 2-0. But they also wanted to show their straps against the best in the world, and you can say that they did that. Still, very obvious shortcomings in some of their ult use. Their team comps weren't always robust because they kept switching them around. Waka Waka, of all people, flexing off Lucio and spending most of Dorado on D.Va and some of the offensive heroes as well. But Lunatic-Hai, class to the end, able to shot call from behind. Their push on King's Row. Not many good decisions deciding on a hybrid map against Lunatic-Hai, but now 5-0 is the streak since the start of Apex Season 2. I don't see too many teams choosing that one.
Well, the sailors get stranded at sea, but there still is hope. Rescue maybe on the way. A very solid VOD review, you'd have to say, planned for these guys. Likely tonight, maybe